stream announcements. You know, in case someone missed it. All right. We are live. Welcome to the first episode of our new Traveller campaign. This will be taking the place, at least temporarily, of the Edge of the Empire campaign, which we ended with a very unceremonious shooting of the face of the main character in the middle of her monologue. And don't think I won't remember it, Ghost.
You've already been salty about it already.
Yeah, no.
Yeah. He has?
Yeah, last game we played.
What are you talking
about? Yes. Yep. It's fine. No, it's fine. I refrained from shooting the kid in the middle of the birthday party in the Dresden campaign. I was really proud of myself. Because that was what I was thinking about doing.
That's terrible. You just want to shoot kids.
Yeah. That's like throwing a dog down the well. There's just no good excuse.
Yeah, right?
Yeah, right?
I'm glad we can start on this good note.
I mean, unless someone took your dog from you in a previous session because you were late and everyone knew you were going to be late.
I mean, obviously that kid's the bad guy. All right, so
I was mad from now on. I'd make every kid a bad guy.
I mean, he already makes every redheaded lady that comes by a bad guy. So
See redheaded kid, we just start shooting.
yeah, like flamethrower at that point. You just got to make sure.
Yeah.
So, I see you guys have more or less figured out your assigned seats. Wasn't rocket science. I've got new table setups. So I've got a little tile area for you. I went ahead and didn't label what each of these boxes were, so you could use them for whatever you want. I did put the encumbrance thing in the Discord, so you guys can calculate your own encumbrance. I only bring that up because, Thodubs being new to or Silverback now, being new to the tabletop world, is trying to play Doom and carry 14 weapons. So, want to make sure we calculate our encumbrance, but it is on the honor system. I'm not going to go behind and check you unless you pull out a bazooka, and I'm like, where did you store that?
A pistol, and some hand grenades.
None of which will be allowed. Well, the pistol might be allowed inside the customs gate. But we're getting ahead of ourselves.
I can just have the psychic guy smuggle him in his pocket.
No, but like I said, we're getting ahead of ourselves. So, for Traveller, we've already started building the world. We've had several one-offs. We got this area. The immediate setting for this session will be Zion Trey, which is the home world. Let's go ahead and start by, introducing our characters, and I will give a little commentary on how you guys met, for those of you that haven't been part of the session. Actually, since Raccoon's not here, Silverback's the only one that isn't actually part of that group. But we're going to start with him. You're on the spot there, Thodubs.
Sorry, I lost audio there for a second.
Oh, okay. Could you say the name of your character and give a very short description of who he is?
All right. My character's name is Guy Sterling. He is basically a muscle-bound enthusiast. A lot of exercise work. He actually got wrapped up with the mafia. Is very good at athletics and unarmed combat. He had a falling out with the mob that he was in by getting with the mob boss's wife, getting her kind of knocked up. So he got her in a bad way, and so he's on the run from the mob at this current time and looking to score money.
How do you get someone kind of knocked up?
I think I kind of tripped and fell. I think it was one of those types of things.
He's not too bright. He didn't know how it worked.
I was asking for some help, and she.
Other people's volumes up? Yeah, we can. How's that? All right, so you guys are actually going to meet in the starport. And I have a introduction for how the characters that were rolled last night, specifically Ghost's character and Craven's character, as you're coming through customs in the starport, there's a guy who's been stopped at customs, and they're having him pull out all of his uh, weapons for checking, and they had to bring out extra fold out tables because like there's so many of them, and he's got like cases with him. And since you guys are talking about starting a mercenary unit, this would pique you guys' interest. And we're gonna hand wave the initial part of this, but you're gonna go ahead and like hand him your business card. Say, hey, we're starting a mercenary unit, and this is how you're gonna meet Sterling as a character. You're gonna invite him, just based on the fact that he's a walking armory. So that's him. Now, next up would be Craven's character, who would probably be doing the card giving out of that.
I'm starting a small mercenary company called Kills for Cash. We're workshopping the name, but that's what we're going with at the moment. I've picked up my second in command, John Shear, who has been with me for a long time, all of my military life.
12 years. 12 years.
It's a long time. It's like half my life, and I'm old. Like ancient old. I like hammers and explosives and drugs. That one's just a side effect of being old. We've picked up Sammy Sapphire at one of our missions. I lost an eye, and I have a colonel in whatever military we were in.
Fired colonel. Yes. You're very prestigious. You're actually in the news a good chunk. You're kind of a local hero.
I hit the bugs.
All right, Kizik, Sammy Sapphire.
Sammy's a belter. I grew up, doesn't have a home world per se, but I the closest world when my mother birthed me in atmosphere, or not in atmosphere. We stopped by one of the little space stations, but was Zion Trey. I live by just the skin of my teeth. Everything is a struggle. I've had a ship for a while. I had a ship. It was leased to me by the belting company, but they took it back when I left. I met Hammer and Shear. I did a little active salvage one day on a planet. I don't like being on a planet. I like being in the atmosphere a while. And I've had a tough life.
Ghost, John Shear.
Hoorah! I'm retired Lieutenant Colonel John Shear, and I'm part of Kills for Cash, here with my good friends Sammy Sapphire and Colonel Hammer. Man, there's a lot of explosions going on out back. Can you hear that?
Yeah, I can. I was wondering what that was. Sounds like fireworks.
That's crazy. That's probably the fireworks team throwing up their shit. But that was just inopportune time. Anyway. So we've started this little band of mercenaries, and we're going to be killing some bugs. I'm happy to be here.
Alrighty. That covers everybody but Raccoon's character, who we will introduce at a later time when he decides to arrive. So we are going to jump into a quick metagame decision before we move forward. And I'm only doing this metagame because it's going to make everything much easier, and I'm worried that if I try to roleplay it, I'll just confuse the shit out of everyone. But since you guys wanted to do a mercenary unit, I got two paths set up. And one of them is the players are in charge and they take care of everything, which will include some economics and trading kind of things. Like it will involve some RP and some spreadsheets in space if you do it that way. So it's a more simulation style of a campaign. And the other way you can do it is you guys can go out and get some investors, because the mercenary license is 1 million credits. But if you grab an investor, then while all of you together will make up, like 53% of the company, could vote force decisions if you really needed to. Most of the time, the investor's going to be like, okay, here are the available contracts that you can afford to do, and here's the equipment, and here's the your cut of the pay. And it would be more on rails than the other one. But you guys wouldn't have to worry about doing any of the managing of the company. I don't know which I know you guys should talk amongst yourselves and say which your preference is. I'm pretty sure I already know which way you're going to go, but I wanted to give you the choice.
Well, I'm gonna look at my secretary and see what he thinks we should do.
Not your secretary.
I mean, not entitled. But like, when was the last time I filled out paperwork?
Secretaries, don't hold your eyeballs in your face.
You don't know that. Actually, you would know that since you're a secretary. You know that's not true.
I'm a lieutenant colonel. I went to the fucking academy. Do not call me a secretary.
Me too. You get to call me
No.
boss. Like it's just a trade, man. So okay. So you don't want to do secretary work. That's what I'm hearing.
Correct. Yeah, I just want to jump into some action.
That sounds like a vote for Vester.
You guys still there? I have audio cutting in and out for some reason.
Yeah, I can hear you.
Yeah, I can hear you fine.
Yeah, I just think I missed all of you guys.
Yeah, I'm gonna vote for investor for Silverback because he doesn't want to do spreadsheets for his first RPG game.
Please no.
Okay, well, investor seems like the win. I was going for that unless one of you guys was volunteering to be the spreadsheet secretary. We go to investor.
And that was what I was going to make you do, was designate someone for each of those jobs. But
I had that covered.
I was relatively certain you guys were going to choose picking an investor. As a matter of fact, I was so certain of it that I wrote most of this session based on it. So, but I want to give you the opportunity because, it does take a little bit of control out of the player's hands, because now you'll show up and the boss will have, folders to be like, okay, pick one. Okay, so your first order of business then, Maul, is, you want to form this mercenary unit, you got to find an investor.
All right.
But you know a lot of people. This is your home world, right?
Yeah.
And you've been defending this place, so you've had to rub elbows with some of the cultural elites. Let me give you a rundown on the planet. Zion Trey is a balkanized world, meaning it is not a planetary unified government. There are nation states, just like our world, that are their own political, military, etc. entities. And they get together on a council to do worldwide stuff, like run the downport, but they are independent nations. And this has led to some very interesting things. The biggest of the sections that you know about, Rookerfell, which is on this part of the map right here. Yeah, they really are doing fireworks out there.
It is loud as fuck.
Yeah, it is.
My dog is freaking out.
So I'm pretty sure you can hear it over the stream. I'm not positive.
Can't hear it.
Okay.
I've muted myself.
It's actually shaking my room a little bit.
It's great.
So
Are you sure it's fireworks and not like Russia invading?
I mean, if it is, then we better make this a good session. So
Okay, fair enough. If you go dark, I'm loading my stuff.
So Rookerfell is a major city, and it is a nation. It's kind of a fallen nation state. So when the colony was first formed, it was formed by corporations, and organized crime became so rampant that a whole city and a small nation state formed around the idea of the mafia runs everything. They're in charge. And this is the area that Guy Sterling would be from. This is the city he would have originally been from, where there is technically a government, but in reality, everything's run by organized crime. And they're one nation state. The second one is Springstead. Springstead is a second major city. It's probably the biggest city that's not the Downport, not the Star Town. And it is a corporate aristocracy, basically. It's corporations run everything, and it's just as sad as the other city. And then there's a small city called Langa. This is a smaller city, but they're relatively newcomers to the scene. I want to say relatively newcomers, the last 100 years or so. Um, and they were awoken from an ark ship that should have awoken 1,000 years ago. So these are almost people out of time. But they also came with technology that was thought lost, including that power armor and the units that belong to um, the group that Maul and um, John Shear were a part of. So it's kind of their likely origin point. They came in right as about the same time, well, right before the Chitin were really becoming a thing, and they've managed to help um, keep dissent down. So the council that's running the planet of the various balkanized worlds had a bunch of rebellion issues, and um, when the liberators came in, and that's the group of that's the military unit that makes up the core of these people. They helped, ironically to their name, crush most of the dissenting rebellion, and then the Chitin came and they started fighting them. And they're kind of a very militaristic, they're a militaristic government, but they're also very heavily pro personal liberty. It's a very interesting, it's a very interesting place to live compared to the others. There are, of course, other minor settlements like Thornford, which is a place that the players in their very first episode here is a moon that is basically like the Wild West with a big old defense cannon. And then there's the Star Town and Downport, which is where you guys are at now. So every planet that's in the Galactic Alliance has a Downport Star Town. So wherever the Downport is on the planet, there's an area. Sometimes it's big, sometimes it's small, that is considered an extra legal zone, meaning only the laws of the Alliance exist in that town. Now, there's a couple caveats of that, one of which is you can't have permanent residence in the town. You can have a business there, but you can't live there. So that does create some problems for, individuals like you who would love to have their mercenary units have all their weapons and equipment and be able to live with them, but in reality, while you can have your weapons and equipment in the Star Town, you'd have to live somewhere else. Anyway, it's also usually the most high-tech place on the planet, and this planet's no exception.
Well, it sounds like that's where we want to go, because that's where our best contacts are going to be.
You're already at the Star Town. That's where we're going to start. But that is a good place for you to go. I haven't built the Star Town map, so a lot of the Star Town stuff is going to be Theater of the Mind. But in essence, there is a section of the Star Town called Mercenary Row, and there are several mercenary outfitters on Mercenary Row. Mercenary outfitters are places where you can go buy equipment or tech, or you can try to go to a cantina and pick up a job. All in the infrastructure of a mercenary unit.
Is that where we go to look for investors?
You could look for investors there, yes. Since Raccoon showed up, are we in chat?
Yeah, I'm in chat.
Excellent. Would you like to very quickly introduce your character before we go any further?
We're all basically within Startown.
Yes.
Okay, and we're at some sort of main area.
I just want you to say the name of your character and give a brief description, and then I'll say how you guys get looped in.
Okay. Hey guys, I'm Deacon. I wanted to go off and be a sound engineer and make some fantastic music. I was not smart enough to get into college and joined the Merchant Marines. I did a lot of driving back and forth. Throughout all the driving, I went and thought of some different music and stuff. I then spent a couple years out being a street performer, and I may have delivered some explosives against a Philip Vaughn, but I don't know if he's not actually one of the main characters now, is he?
No, he's not.
Yeah.
Well,
so you were a Marine, or you were a Merchant Marine?
I was a Merchant Marine. I did not get very much into the line of fire. I have done some fairly mundane.
John and I will be looking down our noses at you.
Well,
that's fine.
That's what it sounds like.
You might do that, except for the fact that he's the only member of the party with a spaceship.
I mean, that's fair. that's fair. It doesn't mean he gets respect. That's like a Coast Guard guy showing up with the only truck. Yeah, he's got a truck, but it's Coast Guard.
I mean, that's very much what it's like, and that is how Deacon would answer. As you are like asking around the Mercenary Row, trying to get yourself sorted, you know one of the things you need is a ship in the long term. Now, in the short term, you could just operate in system for a while, but Deacon's going to answer the ad saying, "I've got access to a leased scout ship."
Right. We've also been workshopping the name. We're looks like we're moving to RAID, Rapid Active Insect Doom.
Awesome.
Yeah, yeah. I thought that was pretty good. I did not come up with it. That credit would have to go to my second in command.
Yeah, do not call me a secretary.
I'm going to halfway call you a secretary every time, but then I'll quickly correct myself.
Okay, so you guys find yourselves on Mercenary Row in Startown. Every shady place, every reputable place is here. And what I think you should probably do is get with each other and figure out how you're going to look for investors, throw around any ideas. And then if you guys all do the same thing, we'll do that. But if you guys want to do separate things, we'll go down the list.
All right. So we'll gather everybody up.
Sir, don't you have anybody that you knew from the old days? Maybe
Yep.
they'd be willing to talk to us.
Yeah, that was first on my list, but I figured, as a leader of this motley crew, I would make sure to let all of you put your 2 cents in. Okay, well, guess we're getting.
There you go.
Back. Yeah, get change back.
I'm sorry. I was dodging off. I mean, we can.
That's right. You're old too, right?
Yeah. I took an extra career. I'm actually 4 years older than you.
Jeez, you are ancient.
Yeah. No,
That makes you what, 48?
How are your
42.
Knees? How are your knees?
My knees actually are pretty good. Actually, not right now because we're on a planet, but in space, my knees feel great.
Well, yeah, that's because there's no gravity in space.
Yeah, I know there's a lot of gravity down here, and I'm just trying to get used to breathing all of this air that's around us instead of just the recycled air. The canned air just feels so much better on my lungs. But anyway, we can go to a couple of those gambling dens, and you can try to bet us a contract.
Bet us a contract?
Yeah, if we go to, I assume there's some kind of gambling thing where if you win, then you get a contract. I don't know. I was looking for a big old streetwise check somewhere.
Sir, I believe that he has a gambling problem.
I believe he has a lot more than just a gambling problem, but let's leave that for a later date.
So, what kind of skills do you bring to the table there, Belter?
I can keep a ship together. I can fly a ship. I got this big old gun, and I'm pretty good on a computer. Actually, I'm pretty good at a lot of things. And I can shoot a laser with the best of them.
Well, that's gonna be handy. Yeah.
Make note. Good at a lot of things.
Good at a lot of things. Yep, I put that right here in my notebook.
Good. I'll leave that for later when I need to figure out where to use them.
I think it's called Jack of all trades or something like that. If he's good at just a little bit of something, but not a pro at everything. All right, and then we've got a Sterling Archer. We met him in the
Sterling Archer? Really?
Oh no, I'm sorry.
Guy.
It's Sterling.
Guy
Guy
Sterling.
Sterling. Jesus.
A little bit too on point there.
I mean, look, he's only been doing the not secretary work for 12 years, so it takes him a minute to get used to this kind of stuff.
We're both officers, right?
Yeah, I do.
So
And you're
Guy
like my, you're
Sterling
like
is
my
our
best
weapon man.
friend.
I think I kept your brain from leaking out of your head one
My
too
eye
many
hole.
times.
My eye
Yeah.
hole. Kept it from leaking out of specifically my eye hole. It was just oozing out. Still remember that. Not that I could visualize it because,
So Sammy Sapphire is a belter jack of all trades. Guy Sterling is our weapon man. And then I'm sorry, I didn't catch your name. Who's the guy with the ship?
My name's
The
Deacon.
merchant marine? Deacon.
Yep, I've got a ship, or access to a ship, and yeah,
A leased ship.
hey, it's better than anybody else here.
That's true. I'm
Ju-
poor.
Judging from
Well,
his token, Deacon is the only one without like a shoulder-mounted weapon. Instead, he's got a guitar slung over his back.
Yeah, I'm just trying to make some nice music, and yeah, I might be inspired by some of these trips that we take to write some more music.
Do you write like metal ballads or something like with a bunch of shooting and killing in it?
Nothing too much has been shooting and killing yet, but we'll see if, judging by the rest of this crew here, we'll see if shooting and killing inspires me to write any different music.
Okay, yeah, stick with us. Probably what you'll get out of this.
think of us, kid. We'll make you famous.
Hey man, from him, that's a legit offer. All right.
Or dead.
It's like, yeah, and I do know a guy that's made a few bombs here and there.
He's a bad guy.
Yeah, I just know a guy that's made a few bombs. I also know a guy that knows a little bit about some stars and astrophysics.
All right, Mr. Sterling, do you have any opinion on how we should proceed?
I don't actually.
Okay. I'm going to give you guys a little nudge then. Okay, so there's two potential things that you guys will be able to figure out in a very short time having drinks. Item number one is one great place to look for sponsors and jobs, etc., and to get your legalities taken care of, which is currently your biggest thing. It's one thing to say you want a mercenary unit, it's another to actually license one. But one of you has a Traveller's Aid Society membership. They specialize in this kind of thing.
Oh, I got a task membership.
Well, two of you have a Traveler's Aid Society membership. And this is, this is also good because Traveler's Aid Societies come with hotel. It's the only way you can stay in the Star Town, like overnight, is to, have that task membership, and you can bring in guests and get a room. Now it is going to be not standard, not amazing accommodation, but you do have it. Alternately, the other piece of information is Maul's character would have been watching the news and would have seen that recently, the Triton, they messed up a major military outpost on a planetoid up on the edge of the system, and several of the mercenary units, they were put in a bad way. So there's going to be a couple of mercenary units around here that maybe are down on their luck and need a little bit of help supporting contracts, and they might be able to help you out, and you might be able to help them out if you can get in touch with any of them.
Right. So, are any of them like old military friends?
So some of them would have been. There's a group called Grifton's Cavalry that have an office nearby where you're at now. You knew the commander of that unit.
Right. We'll head that way. That seems like a good place to start.
Okay. So if anyone else is going to throw anything out there, we're going to proceed on with that. So Maul decides to pay them a visit after seeing the news. He knows that Grifton's Cavalry was hit pretty hard because they were based on that planetoid. And you knock on the door, and you're let in by a contract manager. He's actually someone you knew too. You didn't realize he worked for the cavalry. He used to be a logistics officer that worked with your unit. And he turns out he's the contracts manager of Grifton's Cavalry. and his name is Booker. You open the door, and Booker's like, "Hey, wow, I heard you retired. How's things going?" And he lets you in the office. You bring the whole crew, or is it just you?
I'll bring John.
Okay. So you and John step into the office, and he knew he would recognize John too, because you guys were in the same unit.
Yeah, so we're starting up a mercenary crew. Saw on the news you guys got hit pretty hard.
Yeah. So I guess you haven't heard then. Uh, yeah, Captain Jones, who was your friend, is in charge. He was on planet when it happened. We lost 85% of our standing force. All we've got left is the cadre unit and what Captain Jones liked to call his long shot platoon. We're actually, amongst us officers that are left who have shares in the company, are trying to figure out what we're gonna do. They're supposed to let me know within the hour what the vote's gonna be.
Vote as in
figuring out if we're going to disband, stay together, or if we're going, and who's going to be in charge, because the only people left are secondary shareholders. All the primary shareholders were on planet when the Chitin hit them. It wiped just about everybody out. We're an air cavalry unit. We have no aircraft left either, so that's another thing.
Oof, that is rough.
Yeah, it's been pretty bad. Not to mention, of course, hundreds of lives.
How many contracts do you have open right now?
Well, you mean beside the garrison contract that we just had to default on because the planetoid was wiped out? We've got 2 open minor contracts that I was going to take the cadre on, but now that our frontline unit, I'm not sure whether or not we'll do that or not. Once again, yeah, I'll know in an hour or so how we're gonna do anything. You guys want a drink?
Sure.
But he moves to the edge of his office, and there's a nice little bar in there, and he gets y'all's drink orders and pours y'all some drinks, and you sit back and chat a little bit about old times, and unless you want to ask any specific questions, we're gonna wheel away this hour.
I do have some specific questions.
Mm-hmm. Go ahead.
You said Commander Jones was planetside when they were attacked by, I'm sorry, the Chitins, right?
Yeah.
What are they called?
Chitins or Chitin or Chitin. I pronounce them Chitin, but the way I spelled it, it could go either way, and I won't make a big deal out of that. So actually, Captain Jones and the rest of the air cav were part of a multi mercenary unit garrison force that the military had hired to hold the planetoid, and we actually drove them back. They tried to land troops, and we were using vehicle weapons versus infantry targets, so we did eventually win. Not as easy as it should have been still, but we did win. And then they decided to drop an asteroid on the planetoid because they couldn't take it.
So an asteroid was dropped.
Yeah. That's how it was a dirty trick. We haven't ever seen him do that before.
Good to remember. So what we came here for, we're looking for investors. We're just starting up. We need some investors so we can get moving on gear and equipment and contracts.
All right.
Where good place to start?
I mean, he pulls out a piece of flexi paper and writes down the comm code, and on it says Old Man Stockton, and he hands it to you, and he's like, "This is a guy that we do regular business with he's invested in several different mercenary units, and he was talking about starting up a new one, so he's a good contact you can have. Alternately, depending on what happens with our unit, I don't know whether or not we might be willing to subcontract with you guys for one of these missions."
Yeah, no, here's my card. Give me a holler. Even if we go that route, we can still subcontract and
yeah, absolutely.
Until we're both kind of on our feet.
So he's like, "How many people can you muster?"
I would think we're at 5 right now. 5, 2, 5.
He smiles at you. He's like, "Damn, I got some brass balls. I'm gonna start a mercenary unit with 5 guys. They must be awesome guys." But he's all smiles. He's friendly about it.
And
But
one of them is really awesome. Traveller. It's Traveller, dear. No, it's Traveller.
you want me to
We're
text
gonna-
you want me to text her and tell her it's Traveler?
Traveller.
Yeah, what is it again?
Yeah.
How does it spell?
Yeah.
TRAV.
You guys are funny.
We think so.
Dresden is every other Saturday.
Yeah, I'm gonna build some maps for that too. All right, so you guys whittle away. Do you have any more specific questions for him before I go to the next phase of this thing?
What was the planetoid called?
It was a number. There are hundreds of them in this system.
Okay, so it wasn't like a stationed thing that they were
Yeah.
sitting at for a while.
So the current military tactic in the system, and your character and Maul's character would know this in detail. But the current way of holding the system is they set up military outposts out on planetoids and asteroids, and there's a ton of uninhabited planets in the system that the government's trying to get colonized. Basically trying to push a perimeter out so that when the baddies entered the system, they have a way of intercepting them. And this planetoid was one of those outposts that they had taken a terraform generator and sticking it down on a planetoid, and basically it was a purely military outpost. And they garrison them sometimes with mercenary units, which is what this one was. But it being completely wiped out like that would definitely be newsworthy. Like it's the headline on every major carrier on the planet right now.
Has anybody been back to that planetoid to check, like, for survivors or anything?
The fleet would have absolutely shown up. The Chiton don't hold territory usually. They come and destroy stuff and leave. So yeah, there would definitely been people showing up.
Okay. Yeah, I was just curious to see if this was an opportunity for a rescue mission or something like that. Doesn't sound like it though.
Not this time. It would take you guys too long to get out there anyway. All right, so after a little bit of time, his phone rings, and Booker picks up his phone, and he's like, "All right, so what's the deal?" And like he gets this look on his face, and you hear a couple of, "Wait, no, what? Really? No, that can't be right. No, that's a terrible decision." And then he goes back and forth a few times. Then he hangs up the phone. He's like, "Well, Grifton's cavalry's still in business." And he just kind of like has a 1,000-yard stare for a second.
You the boss? Who's the boss?
And then he looks at John and he's like, "Why would you suggest that I would be the boss?"
Manager type like you? I mean, that's usually who they replace the boss with when the boss goes down.
Well, that is what they did. I just didn't expect it. I'm so far down on the totem pole.
I mean, you were so far down on the totem pole. The totem pole got shorter.
Congratulations, and I toast him in his success.
He like half-heartedly and absent-mindedly clinks his glass with you, but he's still like, "Oh shit." And you can tell he really didn't expect to be in charge. He's like, "Okay,
Well, John and I are like, yeah, that makes sense.
Any way that the raid can help?
apparently I have to muster forces for these subcontracts. You guys do need to get licensed though. Maybe you want to either go talk to Old Man Stockton or find a loan to get yourself licensed."
Right. We'll head out to Stockton. Here's my card. Give me a holler if you think of anything that might be useful.
Yeah, I'll shoot you the subcontract details. I know you guys aren't licensed yet, but I'm assuming you, of all people, will be able to find an investor. When you do, you just give me a call on it.
Will do.
And he gives you his thanks, and y'all do your back slaps and head back to the cantina with your crew so you can talk to them.
All right. We update everybody on what's going on, and we already have some leads on contracts, and we're heading for an investor.
So, who's this old man Stockton guy?
So, Mr. Stockton, he's not going to appreciate being called old man. That's just how Booker was referring to him.
Okay.
But he's an investor businessman. He's not well known. He's not like famous or anything. You've never heard of him before, but you know his type. I mean, this is a guy who's never ever ever going to go out on a mission with you guys. He's going to front the cash, and it's going to be an investment for him. And he's going to pick his contracts based on their monetary value.
All right. So the subcontract right now, what's the monetary value of that?
But you guys won't have an actual number for that just yet.
Oh, I thought he sent it to us.
He sent details, but they're not like, you have to realize that he's a military guy like you are. When he said he sent you details, he sent you like tactical details. He didn't send you financial details.
Send us the important information.
Yeah.
Gotcha. I thought we were getting like a purchase order or something.
Yeah. I mean, he should have if he were in the mindset of being the commander, but he's not there yet.
Gotcha. All right. Well, as far as Mr. Stockton is concerned, it's a lucrative contract with a well-known mercenary unit.
They're definitely in the news.
Would I believe that Mr. Stockton would know more than John is giving him credit for, or do I think that's a good tack to take?
You could play it that way. That wouldn't be a miss, but it isn't necessarily that.
Fair enough.
I mean, you've dealt with all types. Some of the business types you've dealt with are very knowledgeable and have their fingers in all the pies and do things. And some of them are just, they look at a stock board and say, oh, that company's doing well. I'm going to buy stock in that company.
All right. So we'll head off to Mr. Stockton.
Okay. So you got a com code for him. You give him a call. You get his secretary. You don't get him directly. And as soon as you say your name, she's like, as in Colonel Hammer.
Yeah.
All right. We can arrange a meeting. When would you like to meet?
Do you have an office? We can just come to your office.
We don't have a direct office, but we do have a conference room reserved at the Traveller's Aid Society at the Downport. Could you meet me there in, say, an hour? I believe I can find a hole in Mr. Stockton's schedule.
Perfect. We'll see you there.
All right. Once again, you got to decide who you taking with in this endeavor.
I'm just gonna take everybody. It doesn't make sense not to take everybody.
Okay. All right.
I don't know what they're supposed to do if they're not with us. So.
Yeah. Well, the other thing is that you don't necessarily know this, but some of them have abilities that might help you, and connections. Okay. So you guys show up en masse at the conference room. The conference room more than big enough to seat everybody, and Mr. Stockton comes in with a tablet in one hand and a coffee in the other. He's wearing a pretty fine suit. Your eyes would note that his fine suit is a Protect suit. So it looks like a suit, but it's actually really advanced armor. So he's not completely stupid. And he has a seat at the table. He's a little overweight. He's a little bit older than you are. And he says, gentlemen, this is an amazing opportunity. Also, it is very nice to meet all of you. And he shakes the hand of everyone at the table and addresses them by name, even the non-famous members of the party.
No, he's done his homework.
No one knows a belter, I say as I shake his hand.
Do you want to try to scan him? Or do you not have that ability yet?
Oh, let me pull up that page. Actually, no, I don't want to do that.
Okay.
There's a lot of people around.
Okay. Alrighty, so he sits down and he looks right at Maul and he's like, I'm assuming that you'll be leading this little endeavor?
Yes.
Okay. So he puts
If
some...
you know anything about me, you know I tend to fight from the front. Lead from the front.
I have heard that. Of course, news reports can sometimes be exaggerated for morale purposes. But my sources say that in your case, that's not usually the case.
This glowing red eye says it's true.
Yeah. They also say you have a tendency to try to hit Chiton with a hammer, which is not it's not a way to stay alive for a long time, but certainly shows
Worked
guts.
for a while.
So you want to form this unit. It's $1 million investment on my part, or $1 million credit investment on my part to forward your licensing. My proposal is that if each of you front something for the company to ease the burden, say if you all provide the supplies for the first few missions, ammunition, housing, storage, vehicles, anything you need, and I support the licensing, say for the first 2 or 3 missions, we would consider your fronting of equipment and, of course, your personal time to be your part of the share.
That sounds more than fair.
Can you get us a lead on decent, not budget breaking gear and equipment?
This is Mercenary Row. I'm sure that there's a vendor here who can help you out. I can't.
I'm sure there is. I also am sure you would know exactly which vendor is going to give me the best price.
So if you're looking for the absolute bare bottom price, then I can make a few discreet inquiries and I'll forward that info to your account.
Wonderful.
It's like that's simple enough to do. As long as you agree on the terms and principle. I have the money, but purchasing military equipment right now, while 3 mercenary units have just taken a dive. Right now, it is a seller's market for equipment, and yeah.
What about salvage?
There's plenty of salvage to be had. The other thing is that with the contract market in the way it is now, and he's tapping through, he's like, I see Grifton's Cavalry forwarded you some information on some subcontracts. Those are domestic.
Yes.
Those are domestic contracts. Those would be easy for you to handle without an abundance of equipment, and it looks like they'll be relatively lucrative. He starts tapping through keys, and he's like, "Yeah, we could probably break even on a couple of these, maybe even turn a little bit of a profit as long as nothing gets screwed up too badly. One of these is a wet works job. I don't know how you feel about that."
I
Wet
guess
work
it
against
depends on,
humans?
Yes, it would be against humans.
I raise an eyebrow and look at Colonel Hammer. He knows I'm not okay with that.
We've killed humans before, right?
Yes, that's
Yeah.
Look, we've
Still
been
not
doing
okay
this
with
for
it.
12 years. We've murdered our fair share of our fellow man.
I understand. Still not okay with it. That's why you got a raised eyebrow instead of me just saying no.
We'll go over the contract. If it seems untoward, we'll skip it.
he's like, okay, so and he looks at his secretary. He's like, have you finished doing the initial paperwork? And she's like, of course, Mr. Stockton. And she prints out some very interesting looking certificates on this. It's almost like plastic, but it's an official plaque that you guys get as part of your licensing process. She's left the name blank as far as, because she's like, you said your name was a work in progress, so
no, it's Raid.
she's like,
we
Well, I'll fill it in.
yeah,
It's okay.
she's like, you guys can fill it in with whatever you want. The contract number is what's important, and she hands it to you.
Excuse me, miss. What's your rank? Are you a lieutenant colonel or are you a secretary?
She's like, I'm Mr. Stockton's secretary, and for the record, I'm not going to be part of your unit.
Oh, no, I'm not asking you to be a part of the unit. I look over at Hammer and I'm like, secretary? And then I point at myself, lieutenant colonel. And then I point, never mind. I'm just going to fill out the fucking paperwork like I'm supposed to.
She looks mildly offended.
Good.
Clearly you're overqualified. I think it's a bonus.
I just don't call me a secretary.
Okay, so Mr. Stockton is like, well, gentlemen, I think all the legalities are in order. I think that all's left for you to do is to look over your potential contracts. I do suggest one of the domestic ones to start off. I'm going to go see if I can find any military contacts that are willing to give such a small unit something on the front lines that'll be more lucrative. And I'll get back to you, gentlemen, when I've got that figured out.
Fair enough. Thank you.
Nice to meet you, Mr. Stockton.
You as well, gentlemen. Good luck.
All right, so it sounds like now we need to go shopping.
So you guys have mostly done your shopping and character creation, but this is an opportunity if there was something you couldn't afford or couldn't find during your character creation that you'd like to look for. I'll also give you most of the technical details off of the contracts now, if you're willing to, or if you
Yeah,
wish to
yeah.
look at those.
I would. I think I've got a decent like starting kit. I probably have missed a bunch, but I've got mobile comms to talk to everybody, the cold light lantern flashlight. I've got a regular old assault rifle, electric binoculars, a field kit, survival kit. My flak jacket is my protective armor, and then I've got a snub pistol as a backup. I can't imagine me having much more than that.
Yeah.
I grabbed a pistol, grenades, and my hammer, and then I have a flak shell. I have no idea if I need more than that.
If we're gonna
Yep.
stay on planet, we don't need a vac suit, right?
Well, you shouldn't need a vac suit unless you're going to be exposed to the vacuum of space. Even if you travel off world, it's not. You don't generally need a vac suit unless there's a reason.
Yeah, I wear a seatbelt in a car. I wear a vac suit on a spaceship.
That's not a terrible idea. They even have emergency versions, just so you know, that are cheaper and you can wear them underneath your clothes.
Oh, that's neat.
I know all about the emergency soft suit. They also have a emergency vac belt that you can hit a button and it kind of inflates like a bubble around you, lets you get back to the ship.
Huh.
See, he was a good hire.
What else do you know, Belter?
I know if you split an asteroid just right, you can only take the good parts and sell them to the highest bidder.
Is that what you're doing? Like salvaging asteroids for stuff?
Yeah, or salvaging fortresses. You remember? Remember that?
Yeah, I do. I was kind of busy holding his brain in, but I remember. Yeah, we blew up a safe or something for you, right?
You didn't know that. We definitely did not blow up a safe.
Okay. Okay. Wink, 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 wink.
That safe was already blown up.
Okay.
Yeah, sounds like I definitely need to get a little bit better armed up since right now I have a very thick sweater and a stun gun.
Yee.
Yeah, we need to issue you a pistol of some sort. Do you know how to use it though?
I do okay. I've at least shot a few pistols here and there. I'm not
You didn't-
assuming. I'm assuming I'm not as good as you guys that are colonel and lieutenant colonel, but I've at least fired it a few times.
You didn't hit yourself, did you?
Not yet.
You need to have like a shooting montage. Set up a bunch of bottles and shoot it down.
I assume there'd be a lot of shouting. Headrum's downrange.
So,
I just go drill instructor on you.
Deacon and Sterling actually knew each other from the Scooby Doo episodes. So,
Yeah, Sterling's seen me shoot the stunner once or twice. He's also seen me take a harpoon to the chest.
He did it like a champ too.
Yeah, so I definitely need
That's the way
something.
to do it.
I need something better than this nice thick white sweater.
Oh, okay. Yeah, let's get you something. So, I guess we'll try to get you some armor, and then do we have like a med kit or something like that we can buy?
absolutely. So, pretty much anything that is TL 10, or you can go up to or down to, is going to be almost automatically available. Med kits are much lower than that. They're easy to get a hold of. But you can open up the Traveller catalog, supply catalog, and dig through that for stuff you need.
Okay.
I'd like to look for. I think it's a mechanical carapace. There's a TL9 and a TL12. This is like the cheapest battle-like armor you can get.
You know what pages?
26.
Yeah, 26.
I also have a mechanical toolkit on me.
Do you have the 15K for the cheaper version?
I have the 30K for the other one too.
Well, the other one's not going to be readily available, it being a time of war. It's going to be. Oh, you lucked out. It's only going to be 16K. It is a market where normally this stuff would be marked up to the extreme, but as soon as you walk in, you're recognized, and because you're recognized, they still bump the price a little bit, but you basically buying it at street value.
Okay. And that comes with no modifications, right?
Comes with no modifications. And truthfully, most modifications are going to take too long for you to have done before you deploy anyway.
Okay. We'll take it as is for now.
Okay. Obviously, this is the kind of thing that you could never wear on any civilized world. So that's something you're going to have to keep in mind, that if you have to do any contracts on any civilized world, which you are probably going to have to do from time to time, they're not going to let you wear this. So having a lower tech solution to your armor is important.
I have a lower tech. I have a flak shell and I have a rad combat environment suit.
Deacon, what stuff do you need?
I was just gonna go for the most basic and generic of armors, whether it be a flak jacket or a cloth suit, and it might not help that I don't actually have the equipment.
So the flak jacket is good in that you can take it on and off really easily. So if you go into a place where you need to take off said armor, it is really easy. It's also cheap, so if it gets damaged, it's not a huge deal. You can just buy another one. The +5 version is definitely available here.
Okay, yeah, I'll definitely buy that.
Let me roll something real quick.
So when you look at the stats, which one is the permanent? Which one is the temporary?
The blue one is permanent.
Okay,
thank you.
So I'd put a +1 on the temporary one.
Let me get back to you in just a second. It's 1,000 credits, Raccoon, for the flak jacket.
All right, I can handle that. And is that the +5 flak jacket?
Yep, that's the +5.
All right.
And since you're wearing regular clothes underneath, you can literally just, if you go to a place where they say, hey, you can't have that, you just take that off and put it in a locker, no problem.
Okay.
Yes, so you'd actually up your temporary stat, not your permanent stat, and you take your dex down by 1, adds 1 to strength. Also, you buy extra fuel canisters for this thing. Filled up for 10 hours, 25 credits to refuel. That doesn't tell me whether or not you can have a spare battery. Okay, so we're gonna say that it requires being docked at a high-tech facility to refuel. So that's something else you're gonna want to keep in mind. You got 10 hours of powered use. It's not expensive to refuel it, but you're gonna need infrastructure. Okay.
Right.
Weapon-wise, there, Deacon, what do you want to do? You said you only had a stunner. So
right now I just have a stunner. So
I'm assuming you have energy gun combat is your skill.
I just right now I'm just at a 0 for gun combat for all 3.
Oh, okay. Well, you can choose whatever you want then.
Okay.
It'll all be equally bad.
It's not the worst ever. I'm fairly dexterous. Well, I also need to find where the guns are.
So if you open up the chapters,
Energy rifles is like 117, 116.
I was gonna say, if you click on the chapter called self-defense, it'll start with the guns.
115 is energy pistols.
That one. No.
Can I buy a Gauss sniper rifle?
Is it the right tech level?
TL12.
It's going to be very expensive.
Darn.
Yeah, and again, I only have the core rulebook. I don't have the.
Oh, bummer.
I have sent you the. I'll send it again. I like how ancient John Shear looks, by the way.
Yes, he is old school. It's actually Arlie Hermie, his old Marine Corps base.
Where's John Shear?
I posted him in the Traveller Ep. It's actually I don't know why, but my Photoshop GIMP thing is not doing PNGs right now.
So what you're doing there is you're using your Smart Sharpen.
No.
You're overdoing the radius.
Okay, well, yeah, I could actually fix that, but I mean, like the layer that I erased, it still comes back. Like the transparent layer doesn't save. That's my issue. Doesn't save with transparency. It just keeps whatever was there after I cut it out and all that other stuff.
Not Photoshop.
Yeah, it's not Photoshop. It will work on it a bit. It's not that big a deal right now.
Yeah.
Okay, so sorry, I'm trying to get everyone sorted. Deacon, you're first on my list. You've got armor now.
Got armor. I've got the flak jacket. Working my way down to.
Are you just looking for a simple laser pistol?
Yeah, basically.
Here you go. There's a laser pistol. All right. Sterling, you have guns galore, but is there anything you need while you're here on Mercenary Row?
I think I'm okay. I just could have swore that I had a flamethrower, and I don't have that on my list here. I think we used it at a previous encounter, but it was a card, like a card that you had on the desktop, I think.
Yeah, you did have one. It's probably in one of the bags of stuff that I've collected along the way while cleaning up everything. You had a flame rifle. So
That'd be it.
should you add that to your
My repertoire, of course.
yes, your character sheet was what I was gonna say, but yes.
Yeah, every doctor needs to have the right utensils, you know?
Mm-hmm.
Also, make sure when you're carrying things, make sure you're calculating your encumbrance. It's your strength number plus your endurance number, which together, you know, if you have like an 8 and an 8, that's 16 endurance, plus your ranks in either athletics strength or athletics endurance, your ranks in that. And that's the number of kilograms you can carry.
Yeah, I'm not going to carry everything, but, you know, just.
You know, since you're relatively new to the thing. All right, so next up is Maul. I think we already did Maul. Yep, he did his thing. Are you all sorted? Now that you're a walking tank? I'm gonna take your silence as a yes. Okay.
My pistol just 3,000 credits.
Yes.
All right.
Kizik, aka Sammy.
I'm good to go.
Good to go. Ghost.
Yeah, if I can buy a Gauss sniper rifle, that'd be sweet.
Let me work on your price list. It is going to be relatively expensive, but old years.
It's on page 113 if you need to find it.
Find it, thank you. 113. Golf sniper rifle. Tech level 12, so it's up by 2. Running cost is 2,500. So that's 2,900. It's not terrible.
Sweet.
Make sure you buy an appropriate number of magazines and keep track of all that.
Okay.
All right. I believe I went through the whole list now, right? Yes. Yes, sir. You need something else? Sure.
I was just gonna make sure I have like the communication stuff as well.
If it's not on your character sheet and you don't have a card for it, then you don't have it. So
Right now it is not on my character sheet.
everybody buys cell phones right now.
Yeah, comms. Here comms.
Here's
Yeah, I thought we had comms
How
already.
do you fit more stuff on your equipment section?
what I did, what I've been
Other equipment.
yeah, you have that option. I also keep a notepad file for the characters that I played with because I don't like the fillable PDFs and the way they do it. Because when you print your PDF, that section isn't scrollable. So, I mean, it's a peeve of mine. It might not bother you. I just threw a cell phone. I just threw a cell phone in front of everybody. I will get you the prices. They're relatively cheap.
They're 500 credits. Or they would be on a regular world.
Comm units are not going to be military equipment, so they're probably not going to be marked up.
Yeah, mobile comm 150 for tech level 8, 500 for tech level 10.
You can get T-Mobile for 250.
Cricket.
Yeah, 500 is the top of the line smartphone, and with you guys, that's chump change. So I suggest getting the best one. Go ahead and right click on those guys and fill out that it is a TL10 multiple forms of data computer 1 version, so that you can remember. Ow, 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 ow! What the hell?
I think that was Raccoon.
It was.
Oops.
What's it called? Com.TL10.
It's not Comdat. It's mobile comm. It's on page 62. And you want the TL10 version, and make sure you put that description of the features it has in there.
What page was it?
62 of the Central Supply Catalog.
I gotta figure out how much revolver mags cost too.
You're gonna bug some people? You're talking about com dots.
I thought it was called a Comdot. I thought I read that.
There are a thing called Comdot that is also a thing.
This is a little tiny bug you can throw on somebody. Or
I thought
you can put it in your ear.
Comdot, my bad.
You still gotta sync it to a cell phone though.
Yeah. Mobile com.
It's basically an AirPod.
Sorry to interrupt, but how do you guys look at the cards that are on the table? Is it like tab or something like
It's
that?
Alt.
Alt. Left alt.
Gotcha. I knew it was something like that.
I almost got a coach pistol instead of a revolver.
Dude, that coach pistol's nasty.
That,
Yeah,
Absolutely nasty.
it's just a revolver that uses shotgun shells.
it's
I used it on my first character, and it was ridiculous.
That's the one that has the dangerous quality, right?
Yeah, it's like the...
Yeah. So if you fumble it, it turns into a hand grenade.
Right. Or is that the duck one?
I
Hold
got
on.
the double that does that.
Yeah.
That'd be lovely. Because if I remember correctly, the coach pistol was like by default, it's actually like a black powder weapon, but we were using it as a cartridge.
Yeah, I think we were goofing off.
You had
Do
to
you need an
use.
upgraded sheet yet, or
No, the cartridge pistol is just bulky. I don't actually ever need an upgraded sheet for you guys. Most of the time, you guys will just have the PDFs open because the PDFs are interactable and you need it to do your health. And the only reason I asked for one up front was so that you'd have an emergency reference one on your table. And I didn't get one for everybody. So, like I said, it's on the honor system. You guys are on your own. Be honest about it, you guys.
And most of the stuff that I have is also Nate's. Can I pull it out of his bag just to have reference?
Absolutely.
Okay.
Those bags are basically just, I didn't know whose stuff was whose. So I, like, for this side of the table, they're over here. And for this side of the table, they're here. And for this side of the table, they're here. And I just threw them all in a bag because I wanted to redo these so they looked better.
Right.
and one last question.
Hmm?
What are hand grenades? What is the skill used for hand grenades?
Hand grenades are strength dexterity. Or athletics dexterity. Sorry.
Athletics dexterity. Okay.
Or you can load them into an underbarrel grenade launcher.
Or a not underbarrel grenade launcher.
Yeah, I almost bought one of those, but I didn't.
Well, let's see how our first contract goes and then re-equip.
So, speaking of contracts, you basically have two contracts in front of you. The first contract is by Haplin Colonial Services. They have been charted. They're a company you guys would be familiar with, and they have been trying to colonize the other planets in the solar system to basically expand man's influence into the solar system. They're getting a lot of political pressure to do this quickly. Um, they have a colony investigation that they have not sent a ton of details other than a colony pilot program. What do they call these things? A proving site. A colony proving site has gone dark, and they need to send some people out to investigate this colony site. So it's on a different planet within the solar system. The other contract that's available is, so the lister is a number. It's an escrowed bank account, so you know the money is guaranteed. It is a elimination contract, which is generally more like it's like a smash and grab meets an assassination. Like it's for a specific individual, but they're going to be guarded. And it is on this world. It also has a discretion contingency, meaning you can't talk about the contract before, during, or after to anyone outside of the contract giver. And it has a zero collateral damage contingency, meaning you can't kill any innocents that are in the vicinity of the contract. Its pay is significantly higher than the other one, though.
So repeat that one more time for me. What is it's the bad stuff?
So the contingencies are you can't talk about it before, during, and after. So you can't so basically there's a reputation system that I'm going to be using for you guys. But since you have an investor who's doing most of this, this is just going to be one number. It's going to be this thing right here. And as reputation goes up, it'll be something you can spend reputation points to have your broker. So like when he said, I'm going to go try and get you better contracts, you guys are going to earn reputation from this contract, and he's going to use that to buy better contracts. But it could also get you favors, like if you need access to a military space or some support or other things, you would spend reputation to do that. If you guys were managing it yourself, this would be much more complicated, but as it is, it's just a different kind of currency you get paid in on top of the money. Obviously, it's harder to increase your reputation when you take a contingency contract that says don't talk about the contract. You will get a little bit because they'll say, hey, they successfully completed the mission, and there's like a mercenary board that will log that. But you won't be able to like go to the cantina and brag about it. But the trade-off is much more money than the other one. The other contingency is no collateral damage. They don't want you to kill anyone that isn't part of this contract or an immediate threat. They care about, you figure, because it's on this world, it's a civilized world. They don't want you going through the street just shooting people trying to get to your target. That would be bad for business.
That's not how the Marines work, anyway.
I'll put it towards a vote. See what the company thinks.
Well, thanks for considering us, sir. Is that what you like to be called? Anyway, I vote for the one where we get to go salvage a forward mining, or no, forward. What do they call it? Settlement company.
Colony proving site.
Yeah, they're all dead anyway. Let's just go take all their stuff.
That's my vote too, actually.
All right, that's the vote. That's where we go.
All right, I got to drive somewhere.
There was one more person.
Whoa.
We should let the person vote, even if the vote's got 3.
No, I'm good. That sounds like a good plan.
Okay, I just don't want to leave anybody out.
Super Marine of you. Thank you.
Okay. Now, both of those contracts are subcontracted with Grifton, so your point of contact for the rest of it would be to go back and talk to Booker.
Right.
Okay. Take the whole group this time? Or are you going...
Yeah, we'll take the whole group.
Okay, so you guys show up at the Grifton's cavalry office. It's a little bit more going on now. Booker seems to have gotten his head on his shoulders, and it would bring you a little smile having known him to see that now that he's settled into it, he seems like he's doing a good job, and people are listening to him, and they like obviously respect him. Um, and you didn't directly mentor this guy, but it's nice to see someone from your unit doing this well.
I will make sure that they know he was an excellent soldier.
So as he sees you guys come in, yep, he says, "Hey, gentlemen, I saw that you accepted the subcontract. So I have a an L24A deployment shuttle on standby. Um, I need to talk to you for just a moment before you start getting any more details." And he kind of pulls you guys aside. He's like, "Look, I'm going to send the long shot platoon with you guys. Let me explain the concept that the captain had for the long shot platoons. These are people who are on their last chance. They're
Red shirts.
yeah. So
Yeah.
a couple of them are former mobsters. They don't like taking orders, which makes them really difficult to have as part of a mercenary unit. And frankly, if it wasn't so desperate, I'd probably wash them out. I never agreed with the long shot platoon. I don't like having those kind of people around when people's lives are at stake, but I can't afford to cut them. There's a few farm boys that are gun-ho and very enthusiastic but have no experience. I don't particularly dislike them. They just tend to get in trouble. And they're not as good at discretion as they should be. Because of all this, I'm going to tell, despite the fact that you're the subcontractor, I'm going to tell the pilot of the shuttle and this group that I'm sending with you as a squad that you're in charge. So you'll be leading this mission, even though you're the subcontractor, if you're cool with that.
And if we have any behavioral problems while we're there,
Then we deal with them.
Can we wash them out? Is that what you suggested?
I would
think they'll be fired on the spot.
Yeah,
I like how wash them out sounds. That's nice.
Yeah, I would prefer them to come back alive and be washed out that way, because if they die, I have to pay death benefits, and that eats into our budget. But if
make a note of that, number 2.
Number 2, okay.
He winks at you. You're moving up in the world. You've been a secretary for 12 years.
He doesn't like it when you call him that. He just mentioned it today. 12 fucking years, and he just mentions he doesn't like it.
We were in before. Now I can actually say, never mind. It doesn't matter.
Clearly it matters to you.
Yes, that's why I've said stop calling me a secretary. So the deployment shuttle standing by.
Yep.
And we're taking this long shot platoon. What are they called? How many guys?
So there's 4 of the former mafia guys and 4 of the we're gonna say rural fellas rather than what I really want to call them. And
yokels?
Yeah, yokels is a good way of putting it. So if you guys want to give them a once-over, they would be in the bay with the shuttle. There's one extremely professional-looking member of the unit who's obviously the pilot for the shuttle. And then there's 4 guys who are in like mobster-cut suits that have been reinforced with a little bit of armor, and they're carrying pistols. And then there's 4 guys who are in like coveralls, and they've at least been smart enough to put flak jackets on, but they're carrying like bolt-action antique rifles.
I like them.
I like to look at Booker and be like, some of them aren't even wearing armor, and you think they're gonna come back alive?
He pinches the bridge of his nose, and he's like, I know. This is what I've got to work with right now.
Well,
okay, I see why he wants them to come with us, sir.
Like Booker, look, we've worked together for years. If you don't want them to survive, you just have to say it. I'll make sure they don't come back. this whole we might have to pay death benefits. It's really confusing when you say that and then give me a guy who that one's wearing his underwear right now. That's only his underwear. Is he drunk?
So
wearing red shirts, right?
Yeah. So he's like, this isn't supposed to be a combat drop.
Good one, sir.
That's a good one.
I've never heard that guy laugh before.
Oh.
Thought his eyeball was about to pop out.
I screw it back in.
Booker's like, if you makes you feel more comfortable with it, he flags down one of the techs working. He's like, go to the armor locker, pull 4 more flak jackets, and 8 auto rifles, and issue them to the long shot crew. And the tech is like, really? And he's like, yes, go do it now. And the tech runs off to go do it. He's like, look, if you want to give them better weapons, that's fine, but they've never used an auto rifle before in their life, so you're gonna have to, drill sergeant them.
Oh boy. Okay. Let's get the greens.
I'd like to point out that the mobster guys look at the flak jackets and they're like try to put them on over top of their suits. One of them puts it on backwards.
I've stopped paying attention. I've given up. I understand that I'm going to try to keep them alive, but I am not going to try very hard.
Nope. You know what? I fix it and then I make him do push-ups. It's probably the first time anybody's ever yelled at him like that. I hope he cries.
So they don't have a really good, like, the mafia guys don't deal well with authority, but you're just such an overbearing figure that he kind of just, like, he wasn't expecting it and kind of out of shock goes along with it. Plus, it's not your first time dealing with a recruit.
Yep. Okay. I'm gonna smoke his ass. Putting on a fucking flak jacket backwards.
Auto rifles come out and magazines for them, and the yokels are thrilled. They're all about it. The mafia guys are like, yeah, I've seen one of these, and they hold it like hip level, and they shake it like they're shooting it.
It's actually leaned at a 3-degree angle. Yeah.
Okay, this is what your shuttle looks like. The pilot,
all fit in it?
absolutely, it's actually pretty big. You know what I could do? Let me get you familiarized with your vessel. That's a great thing we can do. So
this isn't the least shuttle that Guy has, right? Or I'm sorry, Deacon's got.
No, Deacon doesn't have a shuttle. Deacon has a scout ship. You guys haven't seen it yet, but he has a legitimate starship.
Oh shit!
Yeah, he has a legitimate starship. But you're just hopping from one planet in the solar system to another, so you wouldn't need that. And it'd be kind of a waste of fuel to bring it unless you thought you were going to see space combat. Now, if you really, really, really want to use it, you absolutely can. But this is a more economical way. Plus, this was already set up.
I'm cool with taking an Uber.
Stand by.
Yeah, no, I'm all.
It is Uber Black, though, right? I mean, I don't want to go too bad here.
I don't know. I'm good with whatever ride we have. It's not like we're trying to go in style. We got a pretty motley crew as it is.
Hey, Chris.
And that's before we got the yokels and.
Can I get a change state token with the new image I uploaded?
Yeah, give me just a second. I want to flip this to a certain page. And
Found a better Reinhardt that fit me a little more.
all right, please don't flip these pages in this book because it does have secrets in there that I don't want you guys to know. But here is the sheet and the floor plan of what the deployment shuttle looks like. You can take a second to look at that, and I'm going to take a quick bio break.
Okay. So Deacon, you can fly, right?
Yeah, I've done some flying here and back and forth in my day.
Why don't you just sit up there and help the pilot then?
All right. How the fuck did I do that?
No one thinks of the belter.
As I look through this, like somehow I did not get a single rank in pilot, even though I was great forever.
I'm gonna step in and say I can fly.
Okay. Whoever can fly, you should go up, hang out with that pilot.
I'm also getting on a space vessel, and I'm like running my hands over all of the seams. I'm like feeling the hum of the ship.
Like it.
Yeah, I gotta make sure that this ship is space worthy.
So what do you
How many
think?
of these guys can you give us?
And I'm looking at you as if you and the ship need to get a room.
This is going to be the thing that keeps us alive in the vacuum of space. I will take a room with this.
What was your question, sir?
How many
platoon members do we have?
Yeah.
4 former mafiosos, 4 yokels, and 1 pilot.
4 mafiosos, 4 farm boys.
Sure, you can call them that.
All right.
Farm boys.
All right.
And Nix, thanks for the follow.
Deacon is our mobster guy, right?
How you doing, man?
No.
Deacon was
Guy.
a merchant marine.
Yeah.
Guy is our mobster. All right, Guy. I'm gonna use you as our liaison here, because I have a feeling that if I try to command
problem.
those 4,
We're in our first
directly,
episode, so we're still
they
trying to
will
sort
die.
everything out, but it's going pretty good so far.
Oh, they might still die with me too, but they might be a little bloody first and beaten to a pulp before that happens. So
You guys had a chance to look at the shuttle. You familiarized yourself with the floor plan. Are we going with this, or are you guys going to go with your scout ship?
We'll go with the shuttle.
Okay. So these deployment shuttles would be pretty standard. This is something that the 2 military guys would be familiar with. These things are kind of the de facto military transport that are used to get the Marines and such from place to place.
All right.
Right. What was the parameters of this mission anyway?
So, now that you've accepted the mission, I can give you additional details.
Good. I didn't miss it. I was worried I wasn't paying attention or something.
No.
I made some art. I was,
Yeah.
get distracted every now and then.
So,
Speaking of which, don't forget to change state me.
Oh, yeah. So, there's the Andosa Proving Site. It's owned and operated by Haplin Colonial Services, which is a small firm specializing in reconnoitering and proving colony sites. This is mainly a matter of sending some people to live there for a year or two, thus experiencing what new colonists would have to deal with. Following the old adage that you don't know a place until you've lived there for a year, the proving teams are tough and resourceful since they often have to deal with unexpected threats, equipment breakdowns, and assorted other misfortunes. The Adosa site is located in a marginal area, prone to high winds and dust storms that limit visibility as well as damaging light vehicles and equipment. The area is known to have deposits of useful minerals and might be a profitable colony site with the right investment. I want to make sure I don't give away too much. Okay, so they put 24 people there for a 2-year contract. That was 15 months ago. And up until now, it's been going pretty well. But the site has, had intermittent communications, so they don't know when exactly it went dark because, sometimes it just goes out. A few weeks ago was their last reported contact. With the dust storms on the planet, and it's been 2 weeks, they decided it's time to send a group to figure out what's going on there. Like if they've had technical failure, mechanical failure, obviously with the chitin in the area, they could have been attacked. There's all sorts of things that could be going on here, and they need to send a team to investigate it.
So we're the investigative team.
Yes. A well-armed investigative team, with it being an active war zone and all.
Are they got any local fauna on the planet that are a threat?
It's what the survey group was sent there to find out.
So nobody has any information. It's called Andosa.
Yeah.
And it's a planetoid?
This is actually a full-blown planet that's in the system. It's not the most habitable planet. The water is pretty scarce on this planet, hence the dust storms. They have sent back some colony reports, and as you read through them, most of it's relative to the weather. The weather on the planet is terrible. The dust storms wreak havoc on the equipment. Their vehicles spend more time in the repair bay than they do out doing surveying. Since you asked about the flora, most of the flora that's been related are like scorpions and smaller insects or small rodent-sized animals. Nothing super big has been really reported yet. Nothing lethal enough that you would think you'd have to worry about it. But that doesn't mean that that's a complete report.
Okay. Now that we know the planet, can we go back and get a bunch of water and?
Absolutely.
I'm gonna have to wear something better than just a flak jacket.
Would you guys like to go do a little bit more gearing and do you lay in what supplies? If you just tell me in theory, what supplies you want, we can hand wave a lot of it. Like if you just want warm weather gear and water, that's easy.
Yeah. Basically, that's what I'm looking for. I'm gonna get the warm weather gear and the water.
Same here, yeah.
Same. A nice cape.
So water all around. Don't forget the capes.
Yeah, capes.
There were some goggles. It was like a heads-up display goggle set. Would that work in the desert?
Ooh, yeah.
I'll find it.
Okay. So desert kit's stupidly cheap, so much so that we're not even going to bother
Okay.
worrying about it. It's literally 5 credits a piece. They are 1 kilogram. If you're wearing it, it weighs no kilograms.
Okay.
It includes 2 large water bottles that hold 2 liters of water, mineral tablets, the clothes, sunglasses, basic stuff like that.
Do we need any kind of face masks or anything like that to filter out any kind of debris or dust or anything?
That's a good thing to think about. Anything from a scarf to a full-blown, mask, if you guys want to put it on there.
Because I know we got like environment suits, environment masks,
I don't.
combination mask, face mask, filter mask.
I
My
don't.
gosh.
I mean, yeah. I mean, you can go any of that. I think buying a whole suit for this would be overkill. But you guys can do whatever you want. If you want to do better safe than sorry, and you got some money to throw around, on you. Just from
I'm
make,
kind of
make,
thinking,
make sure.
Tuscan Raider here.
Well, so the desert environmental suit does everything but the breath mask. Like it's got a hat, sunglasses. What page is it on? It's on page 45. Desert kit. It's 75 credits. TL5. It's just desert attire.
Do we want to get a tent? We're going to get stranded, or are we just going to go to their cabins?
I don't know what's out there. I mean, it'd probably be. We want to be prepared, right? So, if you've got, let's go ahead and get the whole thing. We'll get tents. Hold on, I had a whole kit in tabletop.
Oh man, they've got an advanced desert suit. That's kind of cool.
Yeah, I've already got a combination mask from a previous mission.
Mhm.
But yeah, I'll wear that with the desert suit or the desert kit.
All right. I'm going to change the map, but I'm not going to fill in everything. Okay, I guess get it.
Oh, the advanced desert suit comes with face mask. Goggles. Perfect.
So from a very high altitude, that's kind of like what the terrain looks like. I'm going to fill in the stuff once you guys get a little bit closer. There is a raging dust storm. Well, you haven't actually gotten there yet, so we'll hold off on giving you all those details. But once you're done gearing up, I'll give you the full recon. But I'm sure they would have a satellite image that would show you this is the site they were going to put the prefabs up on. So since we have these yokels, and you guys are getting water and stuff, I'm going to assume that you're going to have them go to their quartermaster and get regular desert gear.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, they should.
Okay. They're only going to issue them desert kit. They're not going to issue anything else.
Okay. Duct tape. Doesn't weigh anything. I can carry as much as I want.
And that's how you're gonna make your tent.
Yep. I can make anything out of it. You can make a boat. I've seen the Mythbusters episode.
I was about to say I was just watching the Mythbusters duct tape special with my kid.
You also need a lot of.
anything.
You need sticks and stuff. It's not just duct tape.
Sure, yeah. That's true. We can use the red shirts.
Here, hold this. Don't move all night. All right, are we done supplying?
I can only carry a tent that holds 2. I can't carry a 10-kilogram tent barracks.
Oh, well, why not?
Because it's heavy. Look at the size of this thing. One's like a backpacker's tent that holds 2 people. It pops up a third of a foot. This one you can have like a meeting inside. Also, there's like 15 people coming. I can't. Like, there isn't a tent that holds 15 people.
Why?
I'm just.
The new guys are gonna be like, why do we need a tent? I don't understand.
Because we were going to be staying for a little while. So technically, on page 56, the advanced base doesn't have a weight. If we could afford it, we could have the entire cabin and house. All modules are 6 meters long by 4 meters wide by 3 meters high. Place in the entire base doesn't weigh a thing. Carry that in your pocket.
Page 56, you said?
Yeah.
Bust your chop so bad in a minute.
Oh, yeah, because at the bottom it says dismantled and ready for shipment in the advanced base. Displaces 6 ship tons, with each additional cabin taking up 0.5 tons of cargo space. So the weight is listed in the description. I was just busting the book's chops. Kilograms.
Because it does not weigh any kilograms. It weighs tons.
Tons. Higher than kilograms.
I also like how it says the main area takes 16 man hours to set up.
Which is incredible.
And yeah.
Did you guys find those other people? I'm almost done setting up this main area. Just a second.
We're heading out.
I'm guessing we're gonna bring this stuff as a backup, but our plan is not to be here overnight.
Correct.
All right, we're just gonna.
You're also going to be stuck in the shuttle for a significant amount of time. Because it doesn't have a jump drive, it has to slow boat it out to the planet. So it's going to take a couple of weeks to make a round trip.
Oh, man. Can I work on a skill while we're out there?
You can add 2 weeks.
Sweet.
If you can do only that thing. So this is the trade-off. Like you just hit on a key part of the campaign. Yes, you can add 2 weeks to doing your skill, or you can try to train up these nubs so if something happens, they can help a little bit more effectively. Also, it has to be 2 weeks of continuous time. So, it has to be a week of continuous time for each one, or twice. So if you stop to do anything else, that whole week doesn't count.
Damn, leveling up this game sucks.
Usually it's meant to be something that's done in between sessions.
Yeah, so I'll use my leadership to train these guys.
That's good. Tactics is also an acceptable skill.
I have both,
Mm-hmm.
so I will use them both.
Okay.
In conjunction with my charisma.
Your social check. Yes, that is exactly how you would do that. So go ahead and add your social DM plus your skill in leadership or tactics, whichever is higher, and then roll 2d6s and give me your result. And Ghost, you can also do that as you are also a trained military. Actually, everyone can do it. It just have to be a skill that they are trained in.
That's right.
I want to train them in stealth.
I got 9.
Okay, that passes. So 8. So standard roll is 2d6s plus your modifiers, and a standard roll 8 is the number you need to surpass. If I don't say anything, it's almost always an 8. I'll tell you if it ends up being a hard or a very hard check or an easy check. And as a house rule, I just skip very easy checks most of the time because it's a DM of 4. So okay, so you train them. They're a little bit more coordinated. There's you do work through some of their personality problems, especially the mafia guys. They respect you a little bit now, but they're definitely not military disciplined.
What are their names?
I hate you so much.
Angelo. No, Angelo. All
Okay.
right. Mario.
Okay.
Yes.
No, it's Cavino.
Hey, if it's the
and
mob, you got somebody in there called Anthony, or Tony.
Antonio.
Oh, Antonio.
There you
Antonio.
go.
Yeah.
There you go.
Yep. Yep.
Cavino. What?
Cavino. Yeah.
Cavino.
Cavino.
Cavino. All right.
This
So
guy,
Angelo,
he-
Antonio, Cavino, and then who was the other guy?
Angelo, Mario, Antonio.
Mario.
Cavino. Yeah.
It's me,
Cavino-
Mario.
Cavino
I
is
love
very
him.
short and very hot-tempered.
All right. So now what you have to do, since you're naming them, is you have to take these tokens I put out here, and you have to write their names in.
Where's the tokens at?
Right here.
You can tell how long I expected them to last by the level of effort I put into their pawns.
All right. So the red ones will be the farm boys. The orange ones will be the
The rednecks.
No,
no. The red ones are the rednecks.
Yeah. I heard you. Are we naming them too?
We're getting
Billy.
there.
Might as well. Billy and Bob.
Billy,
what-
Jimmy, Bobby. Billy, Jimmy, Bobby,
And
Eddie.
Paul.
Polly. Keep it
Polly.
simple, man. Keep it simple.
Honestly, either that or we just give them 2 first names.
Yeah.
That's actually what I usually do.
Jim Bob.
It's
Billy
I
Jim.
like that. Oh no! Just put
Polly
Bob
Jim.
on everybody's last. Everybody gets Bob. It's Polly Bob, Jimmy Bob, Billy Bob.
Yeah,
Bob?
that's it. That's
Bobby Bob.
Bobby Bob. The boy so nice they named him twice.
He actually was
we,
named.
we
for
may
the
need to
first
have a
thing he
guy
did.
named Sue too.
that can be the pilot.
Number two.
The pilot is the guy named Sue.
Yeah,
Yeah.
There we go.
Yeah, he's a fucking badass too.
And of course,
Dad named him Sue.
He actually is of this group. Like you guys who have a military background, the pilot is the guy who's like you. He's definitely, he's fought several deployments. He knows how to handle the shuttle. He's the one good person you were assigned from this group.
the mafia guys are the Mario brothers. Cavino Mario, Antonio Mario, and Angelo Mario.
Absolutely. Alternatively, it could be the Luigi brothers.
Yeah, Luigi
There you
Mario.
go.
Because then you'd have Mario Luigi.
Right.
Yeah, someone wants to type all that in and go for it.
All right,
I already did all that.
Deacon, what are you doing during these 2 weeks? Over the week. It's a round trip. Is 2 weeks, so it's only a week to get out there.
Oh, it's only 1 week.
Yeah.
I was gonna try to learn how to. Despite the fact that I've been a part of the Merchant Marines forever, I only know how to drive. I don't really know spacecraft. I was gonna try to learn the piloting stuff. So I guess this is small craft piloting.
So will you go up there and try and learn some stuff from the piloting? Yeah, it's small craft piloting.
Okay.
So you can put a week into that. The pilot is initial responses. So the scout services basically let you lease a ship for free. They gave you a ship. You don't know how to fly?
I did a lot of other auxiliary stuff on the ship. Somehow I managed not to be actually at the helm. So yes.
He turns back and he broods a little bit and he's like, I only got a pen. 20 years of effing service.
Rough.
Hey, I did some good stuff.
Dude's just pulled out a gun, shoots Deacon, and then blows his own brains out like, fuck this world.
I thought Deacon was going to pull out his guitar and play Wonderwall for a week straight.
That's great.
I play bass. I play bass, not guitar.
Okay.
And I play a lot better stuff than Wonderwall.
Oh, one of the things that the colonel would colonel would go over with these schmucks is proper holding of a weapon. So no sideways, no holding your hand way up high and like aiming the gun at a tilt. Um, just keep it close. You know,
We
I
ha-
would add.
yep,
Yeah, that's one of the things he goes over.
we haven't been through everything yet, but a basic gun safety is a thing you can teach them.
Yep.
Yeah,
And
be
anybody that
careful
does
of
it
those kill
wrong,
shots.
anybody that does it wrong gets a gets thwacked.
So, Sterling, what are you going to spend your week going out there doing?
Probably look over these mafia guys, kind of help out with them, make sure that they're doing what they need to do as far as getting trained.
Okay, you want to try to teach them things. Specifically, I'm assuming you're going to teach shooting.
Sure, I also do the unarmed combat type stuff too, you know?
Okay, you can pick either one of those. If you have a leadership check, you can pass a average leadership check to do that. If you want to use your actual gun skill, you can do it as a hard check, meaning you need a 10 plus to do it.
I do probably have I'll probably just do the skill itself.
Okay. So go ahead and give me a 2d6 plus your ranks in that skill.
Okay, how do I get off the stupid ruler thing?
Press F1. Or escape if you've hit tab too many times.
Nope, didn't work.
Click on the hand in the top left, or let go of tab.
Press F1, it should select the hand automatically.
No bueno.
Click on the screen.
Oh, you mean that hand? Okay.
Yeah.
This is the guy training our mafia guys.
Now,
Hand to hand.
yes,
Hand.
unhand. Yeah, there you go.
He used to be in tech support.
I haven't done a Athena quest. I've been getting like spammed by commendations.
Okay,
Oh.
roll a 7 plus unarmed. It's 2.
Okay, so that's a pass. 7 plus 2, that's... No, wait, that's 9.
Well, that's 9.
Yeah, counting's hard, yo. You failed.
One shy, one shy.
Used to be in tech support.
Still is. You don't need to know how to count to do that.
Turn it off. Turn it back on.
Yep.
Just read the screen.
Yep. So, alrighty, so you try. The good news is you do enjoy getting to beat up some of the mafia guys. You know, they don't really learn much other than they really don't want to get into a fist fight with you.
Take out some aggressions.
Let's see. So that leaves
I'm good with that. It's a long 2 weeks, you know?
yeah, Kizik.
I am walking the length of the ship like everybody else is trying to help, and I see that, and that's going on. I'm making sure that the ship is still in pristine conditions.
Are you still groping the ship?
1,000%, yeah. Making sure that we're going to make it there.
I feel like we're training these guys, and you just this Kizik in the corner just humping the fuck out of the ship.
Probably rubbing the walls tenderly and then pushing his cheek up against it.
Yeah, cheek.
Yeah.
His
Just
cheek. That's what we're gonna call it.
That's what the kids.
Ooh.
That's what the kids are calling it these days.
If I bump into
Lower cheeks.
if I bump into anything that's sticky or gooey, I'm sorry. This is just not going to be good.
It's just chain lube. That's all. Go away.
All right, I think that's everybody. So you guys would come up in orbit. So there's a hell of a dust storm that's been coming through here. It is starting to tail off, but it's bad enough that it's still going to create some problems. And the pilot's explaining that landing directly at the site is going to be difficult because of the way the dust storm is. But there's this protected area that's nearby that we could land in. And we'd have to hike over the dunes that are providing the defilade from the wind, but that's the best place to land if we want to do it.
How long would that hike take us?
Hours, not days.
Wouldn't that then? Are you leaving the ship here? Like, is that the plan? It's going to be covered in sand when we get back.
The pilot's like, I'm staying with the ship.
No, good plan.
So we can radio him if we need a pickup.
I mean, if
Maybe.
comms work in the dust storms.
All right. Sounds like we have something akin to a plan.
All right, I'm going to start. No, we have to land first. Never mind.
Okay. So if we are going to go with that plan, I'm going to have him roll his piloting check. Does anyone want to help pilot?
Yes, please.
Would you like to roll the piloting check and take a boost?
Take a boost.
Because he's actually piloting. Well, you guys are both piloting. You're co-piloting, but you're a good pilot, so he's giving you a boost.
What's a boost?
It's an extra dice, and you drop the lowest. So instead of rolling 2d6, you roll 3, and you drop the low one.
Mm-hmm.
Well, that's a 14.
Okay, that's way better than you needed. You needed a 10 to land, and you did. So you bring the shuttle down. This is a pretty rocky area. These desert hills are these series of banks, and they go down into a dusty area where the prefab buildings are all set up. So who you take it with? Let's put all our tokens back behind the shuttle. As I'll get out of the shuttle and you're examining the area. On the horizon, you can see the dust storm is just carrying on in the distance. It's moving away is the only good thing.
Something again.
Can we pull our tokens out? Mine's locked.
Oh, yeah, I have them here for copy paste purposes. That way we don't. So there's a Sammy. Maul. Maul needs another state.
Emissary thing. Do I have to go into the pirate place?
John Shear. Copy. Paste.
Go to the pirate place to get it?
Deacon.
I
Copy.
am a legend.
Sterling gets a copy.
I scream "oorah" as we touch down.
Thank John. Should I call you? Wait, no, you're not a sergeant.
No,
You're-
you can just call me sir.
Didn't have like
Will that confuse you and Colonel Hammer over there?
Nope,
No.
we know which sir you're talking to.
Yeah.
So you want to try it?
Sure thing, sir.
Yep.
All right.
Works.
Just trying to make sure. Again, I dealt with some pretty technical and not very significant people in my days.
I mean, I'm out of the military now. You can call me John. It's fine. Or
Alright.
Shear, or whatever.
Yeah, he only spent 12 years of his life earning that title.
Working painstakingly through the academy.
Took you 12 years to get commissioned?
No. I got commissioned immediately out of the military academy. Where this guy, he actually got drafted into the Marines, and I have no idea how he became a fucking commissioned officer when he got drafted. Never went to fucking military academy, but it's okay.
Battlefield promotion on his first tour.
Yeah, he's got a big ass hammer for a reason. So he's the colonel, and I'm lieutenant colonel. It's fine.
All right.
Alrighty, so you guys have landed. Suddenly, all your new recruits look really nervous. This is not the sort of environment they're used to, but you've done a little bit of successful leadership, so you're able to keep them disciplined. And you all kind of like milling outside the back of the shuttle. So what's the plan here?
So the pilot's going to stay here, or is he going to fly out?
That's up to you. He can take the ship to orbit.
Bird back in the air.
I mean, he's just going to waste fuel if he's just flying around. I mean, he could take it up and go into orbit, right?
Yes, he can put himself in orbit.
Yeah, put him in orbit. Like, if something happened here, they lost communications, he needs to be...
He's our backup call.
Or he's the guy that goes back and says, they disappeared too.
Right. Okay.
Have him monitor these weather storms.
Okay.
so we don't get caught unsurprised.
So
Hopefully, our comms are going to be okay in the storms.
you
Wait,
guys,
so you want to be caught surprised?
Tell him to come back in 6 hours. Meet us right back here in 6 hours if you don't hear anything from us.
Roger, Roger. So he lifts off, and he sets in a orbit that'll bring him back overhead in 6 hours.
Okay.
And now you guys are alone on the plateau.
We'll start heading northeast.
It is hot as hell.
We got our kits on, right?
Mm-hmm.
These are the kids complaining?
Yes, 100%.
Fucking.
Especially Angelo Mario, who wore his suit underneath of his desert kit, not understanding the purpose.
I'm gonna let his ass
He
sweat.
has 3 layers on right now.
Yep.
Yeah. He's got his suit, the flak jacket we made them all wear,
And the
then the
desert kit.
Yeah, and the desert stuff.
He's gonna die of
He's the first. He's the first red shirt not coming back.
Yeah, he's gonna fucking have heat stroke before we get over this thing. All right, so I'm gonna start them in a quick time march, and we're gonna start marching up the dunes.
Okay, so everyone give me a athletics endurance check.
Dang it, I don't have anything on athletics.
So I've got a skill endurance, and then I've got my actual characteristic endurance with my DM2.
You get both.
Do I add those together?
You get both. If you have no skills, meaning you don't even have a 0 in athletics, you take a -3.
All right.
I got a 6. I
Got a
have
9.
0 in the skill.
I got a 5.
Got a 7.
Got a 9.
So, Sterling and Sheer are doing okay, but everybody else is like about to fall out, and you guys decide you have to stop and take a water break before you're even halfway there.
Oh, this takes me back. You guys don't even have fucking boots on.
The farm boys look like they're doing okay. I mean, they're as exhausted as the rest of your team is, but they're not as bad. The mafia guys are on the verge of falling out.
All right, regroup, boys. Are we directly in the sun while we're taking a break?
You are directly in the sun, and it's an open baked. The good news is it's not sand; it's a hard surface, but it is a baked hard surface.
Oof.
You can do a survival check if you want to see if you can kind of eyeball how long until sundown.
Yeah, I'll try that.
All right, that's a standard survival check.
Is that intellect versus education?
I would say that survival is an education check, but I'd let you argue either way.
I only got a 5.
You get a 6. We're looking at each other trying to go. I'm trying to catch my breath first.
I'm like, there's 2 fucking suns. Like, what do we?
It's
I don't even know when one sets. Like, this place is baked, dude.
It's the
Trying to
same.
hold up fingers to count hours to the end of days.
Yeah, I put my hand up and I'm like counting palms as I'm going down the skyline.
So, yeah,
okay.
you guys are not able to figure out. You know you're in the same solar system, but you're a lot closer to the sun, so you're not sure how that works. So, is it push forward or is it try to shield during the day and move at night?
Yeah, I've got a tent here, and I'm sure that it'll provide a little bit of shade.
No, let's push one more. How long has it been? Do I need to get on comms and tell Flyboy to stay up there for a while?
It's only been about 45 minutes to an hour.
Okay, yeah, let's keep pressing. We're gonna press maybe 5 hours.
We don't need to do double time though.
No, I won't make them run anymore.
Yeah, who's thought double time was a good idea out here in the heat?
He was doing fine. So, you guys go a little bit slower, a little bit forward. The temperature is about 120 degrees Fahrenheit. It is a lot hotter than you thought it was going to. But
Okay.
you do make it most of the way. You can now see the edge of the where the desert hill, where the dunes have built up against the edge of this area of the land. Um, and you are relatively close to that after another hour passes.
How are my mooks looking?
Pretty bad. Um, yeah, the mafia guys are. One of them, the guy who had his suit on, has actually stripped. He stopped, stripped completely out, threw his suit just in the sand, and put his gear on correctly, so he doesn't
Nice.
die.
He also has sun and windburn.
He will have sunburn. All of you are going to have sunburn if you're not wearing your gear properly. But you do have shades and a hat and a full covering. So as long as you're being intelligent about it, no one should get sunburn. Not going to make you roll for it because it seems pretty standard. How's the party members doing?
You mean?
How would you guys be faring with the heat?
I mean,
Yeah, I'm not having
pretty sure
fun.
we've dealt with this before, so.
Yeah, this brings back a lot of memories.
I mean, you guys were Star Marines, so you boarded spaceships, but I'm sure you would have had some environmental training and stuff like that.
Yeah, I don't like the heat. I like the coldness of space. I'm not the happiest right now. Also, we're on a planet, so I'm still huffing and puffing.
Okay. So you guys guesstimated to take another hour to get over the hill, but then you could be at the facility if you kept going on. The sun has started to move to the point where you're pretty sure in a couple of hours it'll probably go over the horizon.
Oh, okay. We're gonna regroup at the bottom of the dune, but then we'll try to get up it.
Okay. Since you guys are going to be going down the dune, I am going to have you guys do an athletics check. It can be strength, dexterity, or endurance, because I'm not sure which one is probably strength for climbing, but I'm not sure. But if you have any athletic skill, that's going to be your climb check.
Okay.
At the top of the dune, can I stay back for a couple seconds and then reach out looking for life?
Yes, spend your psi point and make.
I got a 10.
That's a good one.
Okay. Got a 9.
I got a 6.
You guys are like, hey, we're doing okay, and then the scout services guy just like goes end over end, followed closely by the mobster guy, Sterling.
Oh no.
They slide on their butts, but they get close enough to passing that they're not like hitting their heads or anything, but they're sliding on their butts down the dune.
Oh, that's the way to go down a dune. Slide down it.
Yeah.
The colonel is just marching down the dune like it's just regular.
Oh shit. The new guys, they do relatively well. So I'm gonna say they all make it. They have issues, but they all make it to the bottom.
Training for you, man.
So Sammy, did you make your roll?
I passed by 4 on my life detection roll, and then I rolled an 11 on my. Actually, no, you said it was dexterity? I rolled an 11. I don't have any athletics.
Okay, that's fine. If you don't have any athletics, it's whatever your untrained is, which I think for you is only a -1.
Correct.
Okay, so you also make it down there. You didn't quite have any climbing gear, but that's not going to be an issue until you go back up. But now that you're at the bottom, you realize that that's a really steep hill. Getting back up that hill is going to be a lot more difficult. So just something to keep in mind. If you guys don't have climbing gear, you might want to see about if there's anything in the facility that can help you on your way back up. I'll just go ahead and give you that.
I'm wearing a climbing kit.
You're not even worried then. Now, for your detect life, you did detect at least a dozen life signs. They are scattered throughout the facility. The little hexes like this are covered walkways that are basically they're like docking tubes you'd have in space that connect the different prefabricated shelters together. I'm getting some feedback from you again there, Raccoon. Now, you can go into any of the doors in the barracks facilities. There's a garage out here. You can see all this stuff. As you get to the bottom of the hill, the sun is starting to set. The facility does appear to have power.
We should try to find a way to communicate with anybody.
Which building has a big old antenna on it?
None of them. I mean, they have antennas, but there isn't like a comm center looking building. They have standard like surface to space antennas, and then they would have a satellite in orbit that relays.
Do any of these buildings have exterior windows?
Yeah, I think these buildings would all have exterior windows of some variety, although they might be covered with blinds.
Spread out, boys. Let's do some recon. Don't go inside any buildings yet. Meet me back up here in about 20 minutes.
Excellent. So, we're gonna. You want breaking off in pairs or bigger groups?
Yeah, 2 teams. Yeah, pairs. Sorry.
Yeah.
Battle buddies.
They break off into pairs and start exploring the concept. They try to peek in any windows they can. How long did you give them? 10 minutes?
20.
20 minutes? Okay. You guys do your exploring, and we're going to go person by person. So, Raccoon's up first.
All right, so I'm out with Sterling, I guess.
You can be with Sterling. You guys can pick your own battle buddies.
Yeah, I figure I'll start.
You figure you'll start.
Sorry, I'm trying to figure out the whole push to talk thing since apparently I had some feedback and I was trying to hit tab. I was gonna start over near-ish this side, so.
Okay. All right. So as you walk up to the door, go ahead and give me a perception check, which is recon plus int, I believe. Recon int. Yeah, I think that's right.
All right, that is a 8.
All right. You so above the door for the beginning of the barracks, it says power testing and laboratory facility. And several of the windows are locked. But the little bit of like peaks and the cracks you can get, it looks like there's some industrial equipment in there. Sterling, you're with him, right? Yes, no?
Yes.
Okay. What are you doing?
So basically, he was peeking in windows, basically, right?
Yep.
Now, I'm sorry. Did he see anyone?
He hasn't seen any people through his check, but he's seen a sign saying that this is some sort of power laboratory, and he's peeked in the windows and saw some industrial equipment.
Okay. All right. I'll just. I guess if we've already seen that, we can probably just move down to the next building.
Okay. So with the amount of time you've been given, you can absolutely get down to the next building. Next building was actually all the way over here.
Oh, I guess next set of windows, right, or something like
Oh,
that.
oh, you want to go to the next set of windows? Okay, same building, next set of windows.
Yeah,
okay,
same building,
yeah,
next
yeah.
set of windows.
Okay.
And then do a peek in.
Absolutely, I got you. Go ahead and roll your recon plus int for your perception check.
Got a 5.
Okay. So you look inside. It's the glass is just so foggy that you just can't see through. There's nothing in there that you can tell. Like there's some glowing lights, but that doesn't really tell you anything. All right. Colonel Maul. Your powered armor hates the sand. It's working. Man, it's making bad noises.
But you said it was hard packed.
Hmm?
You said it was hard packed. You weren't walking in sand.
You went into the sand dune. That's how you get down the hill. Hardpack is up here. Down here is like a sandy desert area.
I'm with it now.
Yep.
All right.
It's just for flavor. It's not any detriment.
Walk into one of these rooms.
You're just gonna go inside. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. So completely ignoring everyone else's directed tactics, you open the door and just stroll inside. As you come around the corner, there's a man. So you actually end up walking in this part. There's a man. He's got a rifle. He's not like threatening or aiming it at you, but he's rather like kind of tapping with one finger at the keyboard in almost a dazed state, and kind of holding the rifle in the other hand.
All right. I'm gonna call out to him. Sir, citizen.
Huh?
They've been trying to reach you guys for some time. What seems to be going on out here? You guys aren't responding to communications.
Who?
He's a zombie. Kill him.
I'm gonna walk up and do a medical check on him.
Okay. So go ahead and roll me a medical check. If you try to touch him, he is gonna back away from. He's afraid of you. He's acting dazed and confused.
Got that.
Sir, remember you are in a giant suit of armor.
I got an 11 on my medical check.
Okay. His biochemistry is way off. Also, an 11. His biochemistry is off in such a way that, like you're used to battle stimulant drugs, so you know what the effects of it are, and like he's got some weird. It's not quite the same as that, but there's definitely some endorphins and stuff that have been activated in him. Plus, he's carrying a rifle. That means, like, he could definitely be a threat. He's not acting that way right now, but you know, his adrenaline glands are at like 120%.
So you got the rifle just pointed to the ground?
It's just kind of hanging loosely in his hand right now. It's almost as though he doesn't realize he has it. He just hasn't dropped it.
All right.
Huh.
I will take a. Where do I put this? I'm going to pretend that I am. Not like I'm gonna go sneaky. Like, what are the numbers, soldier? How many are out there?
Okay, so you're gonna lower your voice, I'm assuming.
Yeah.
Okay. Let me see. Roll him a quick endurance. No, he's way too far out of it. But as you lean in, he takes another step back, and he seems to realize now that the rifle's in his hand, and he's not directly pointing it at you, but like he's definitely combative. Like he doesn't want you. He's like, stay back.
I'm just gonna go drill instructor on this guy.
Okay, so you want to step forward and try your hand at
Yeah.
doing
Have
that?
you seen Full Metal Jacket?
Yep, I have.
I feel like this is gonna be a jelly donut moment.
That's the whole point.
It might be.
Yeah.
So what you need to do is you need to tell me what approach you're taking. Like, just, and when I say what approach, like, what are you saying to him, and what skill you're trying to use.
So I want to speak with authority and use my leadership skill to basically snap him into the moment and make him realize where he is. Yeah, I'm basically I'm going full drill instructor to try to get him grounded into what's going on right here, right now.
Okay. Before you do that, roll me a raw intelligence check.
Okay.
I have a question.
Answer.
So I would assume this will cause somewhat of a distraction for the gunman. How hard is it to shoot the gun?
A lot harder than it would be to just grab it out of his hand at this point, but you could try to do it.
I got a 7 on my intelligence.
All right, that's not good enough. You can go ahead and try your thing.
If it looks like his finger squeezes on the trigger, I'd like to hit the gun out of his hand.
Okay, so you're gonna move in close behind him then. So are you right up Shear's ass doing this?
Yes.
Okay, yourself up close.
Do I get to do my leadership thing?
Yeah,
Yeah.
go ahead and roll it.
Yeah, I'm only gonna do this if he tries to kill you.
You need a 12 to pass. He's not military. So this is metagame, but the only reason that works on some people is because they've been military and they've had all this drilled into them, and it's a reflex. That's why that works psychologically. He's not military, so this approach won't work unless by some freak nature you do it.
12.
Unless you get a 12. So basically what you do is, it doesn't have the effect you think it's going to. You don't snap him back in, but he does drop the gun and like cower behind the water cooler.
Crying.
Yeah, like you basically just broke his shit.
I'm gonna pick the gun up.
Yeah.
Okay.
Oh.
The,
If you don't want it, I'm gonna put it on my back.
I'll hand it to you.
yeah. So it's a standard auto rifle. As you check the magazine, all but like 4 rounds have already been expended.
Okay. That's
The
4 rounds
fuck
I didn't
has he
have.
been shooting at? I'm started asking him questions.
He's completely mind broken at this point.
Damn it.
Can I do a medical check to render him unconscious?
Yeah, you can pull out some stuff and do a medical check, but while you're doing that, we're gonna go to because we got some party members we haven't talked to. So we're gonna go to Sammy. You just got left alone out here.
Yeah, Sammy knows that the most important thing is to go to the garage. But as he took 2 steps, he heard somebody started shouting, so he immediately went to the door that was just kicked open by the big giant tank guy. And he started.
I just opened it. I may
Just
have not
peeks
been paying
in.
attention.
Peeks in, looks around, sees him pick up a gun, put it on his back, and he's gonna provide backup, make sure that nobody comes down any of the extra hallways, and he's gonna ask what happened. Hey guys, what happened? Why are you screaming?
Why does it smell like shit in here?
Who's that guy?
I got an 8 on my medical check.
Okay. You are able to, you just pull out whatever looks like a sedative and stick it in him, and he collapses.
I make him comfortable, and then I tell Sheer and Sapphire to search for supplies. Let's clear this building and move to the next one.
There's
Who's
something
that
wrong
guy?
with him. Yeah, it's a survivor.
As he
There's
just
something
falls
going on.
asleep.
Yes, he just fell asleep. He seemed to be in some kind of shock. His adrenaline glands were just pumping full force. He was what's the word I'm looking
Responsive.
for? Non-responsive.
As you're saying all that, I just walk up and tie his hands behind his back.
Yeah, she zip ties ass.
Okay. It's been about 20 minutes, and you start to hear your people congregating back at the rally point.
Report.
So the first thing you're going to notice is a counting problem.
Uh-oh. Where are my good old boys? Wait, you came back? Mario, where's your battle buddy?
I went around a corner to investigate something, and I came back and he was gone.
What do you mean you went around a corner to investigate? It's a battle buddy. You go with your battle buddy.
I didn't know. He's probably just.
Where did you go?
I was down near the garage. I thought I heard something.
All right, we need to go towards the garage.
Well, hold up, because we're not just missing Cavino. We're missing Cavino. Of course we are. We're also missing Jimmy and Polybob.
Polybob and Jimmy Bob might not have been able to tell time. We should go check on them too.
Right.
But as a group.
All right. Let's search this building first. Let's finish where we're at and then move forward.
We could be wasting time. Like those guys could be
Good.
dying.
Good, and there could also be something in this building that we will need.
That's gonna
and
stay. It's
you know-
gonna be here.
could be other survivors inside. Just because that guy was out of his mind, crazy, doesn't mean the others aren't hiding somewhere.
Hey guys, we have comms, right?
Yep, you guys got cell phones.
I think that we should definitely go and search for the people that are missing first, as opposed to searching this building for stuff.
All right, tell you what.
I
gonna send
second that.
I'll send the 3 Mario Brothers in to do the search. Don't mess with the
Zip tied guy.
zip tied guy. So let's
Yeah.
move forward.
Yeah, loot the place. We know how to do that.
Good.
I expect an inventory when I get back.
We should go towards the garage.
That's this way, right?
So you guys come up to the garage. There's a rolling door on either side, and there's a side access door on the sides. So rolling doors on this side and this side for vehicles, and then there's a side access door for people here.
All right. Can we try to get them up on comms first?
Yeah.
And nothing happens, I assume.
Nope, no answer.
Are there any tire tracks in the sand?
No. There was a big storm just now, though, so in order for there to have been tire tracks, actually, or any tracks, it had to happen immediately. But that does bring up a valid point. There are checks you guys can make if you would like to roll some perception checks.
What that guy said, he went down this aisle and went the other way. Like, I could see his footprints, right? I don't see any footprints for the other one. Let's try to follow those.
Are there any drag marks?
Roll some perception checks. See what you see in the sand.
What's perception?
Is that recon?
That's recon plus intelligence is perception.
Got a 5. Rolled an actual 3. I was terrified.
I got a 4.
Got an 8.
Yeah, I got a 5.
Erling, you gonna save the day?
Got a 10.
10. Okay, so we got an 8 and a 10. So the 8 tells you that you can see the tracks. It looks like several people, like were scuffling down here at this corner, and there are definitely some like drag marks in and out of various places, including the small garage. There's also a set of tracks from the small garage that go up the hill.
Human tracks?
Yeah, they look like human tracks.
All right. Sure, I'm thinking we do a dual breach.
No, we should all stack on a door.
There's like 8
Which
of them.
door? Yeah, which door you want?
I'm thinking the one nearest, but I was also thinking we should have a group come in the backside.
You want people that aren't trained in any military training whatsoever to come in the back way and point their weapons towards you?
What about the other side door?
Again, same problem. But yeah, we can do whatever.
Called it a dual breach? What are you talking about?
Just when you go in the 2 doors.
Called a DP, double
Yeah,
penetration.
penetration.
Yes, that's what
All
that's called.
I'm pretty sure that's the military term for it.
But it's also worth noting that actually, you don't have to worry about that because you guys talked them into giving them different weapons. I was gonna say these guys got bolt action rifles, but they don't. They got auto rifles.
That's even worse when they're shooting at us.
All right.
Okay.
All right, let's go in the garage.
You guys,
Yeah,
kick.
I'm gonna kick the door in. Like you know how if you've watched when they do a breach, they break the door in and then everyone slides in. The other person slides out of the way.
You guys slide in a narrow gap between the wall, the door, and the workbench. These guys kick the door in. Sammy, John, and Sterling immediately encounter an individual And he dives behind a toolbox as he throws something at your feet. Dexterity check, please, for Sammy and Sterling.
So I guess I'm going to jump out of the way, use my strength as a skill, right?
Rolled a 7.
Oh, fuck, man. I got snake eyes.
What attributes?
Dexterity. If you have athletics, dexterity, you can add that as well.
Got a 6.
Okay. So you both failed, right?
Oh, sorry, 7, but probably still failed.
Indeed. So did every one of you fail? Sammy? I forgot. I didn't hear yours.
Yes, I rolled a 7.
Excellent. Okay. Well, not excellent, but that's fine. Let me roll 2Ds. Okay, not bad. So that's 5 damage. Fire. Blast 3. Can't remember what blast does in this game. I'm guessing that it means that you take 3 if you're not the direct target. But it's a fire grenade. It's an incendiary grenade. It was a makeshift one that was thrown at your feet. And each of you are going to take the 5 unless your armor soaks it, but all of you are wearing good enough armor that I think it'll soak it. Not sure about Sammy.
Still take 1 damage.
No, I'm okay.
Okay. All right. There's a fire now at this point. Let me see if I have. Am I smart enough to have the fire thing? I am. There we go. So there's now a fire in this part of it. He jumped for cover, and he's in cover from the group he just threw the grenade at. Unfortunately, that puts him directly in front of Deacon, Maul, and Billy Bob's.
Yeah, I'm going to smack the living shit out of him. That's clearly a combatant.
Yes, 100%. And as he sees you coming at him, he grabs a screwdriver and tries to stab you with it.
Mm-hmm.
So, actually, no. Let me roll something else real quick. Because they're not stupid. And you are in power armor. Okay, he rolled an 8, so that's barely a pass. He's going to fling some oil at your face visor. It's not going to stop you, but he's trying to, give you an issue. And he's going to try to roll underneath the Jeep, which is going to increase the difficulty of your attack against him. So you're going to roll your attack, but you're going to roll a Bane, which means you're going to roll 3d6s and drop the highest.
All right, I got 6 plus 1, 7 plus 4, 11.
Okay, you still managed to hit him. Go ahead and roll your damage.
All right, and that's static mole 3D. That is 11.
11 damage. Section. Okay, so you smack it with the maul, and you can hear ribs cracking, but he does manage to slide underneath of the truck. He is alive. There's now oil over your visor, and you need to take an action to stop and clean that off. Well, or just stay blinded, but I figure you're not going to want to do that.
I'm gonna holler for one of my recruits, Billy Bob, to come wipe my visor down.
The traps are fine.
Okay. We also need to hear from Deacon, and the guys who did the reflex checks need to take an actual action.
So, because we were taking a reaction of the fire, we won't be able to get to shoot this guy.
You can still try, but it's going to be a really hard shot. He's underneath it's a very small garage. He's underneath the vehicle. It's taking up most of it, and the area between you and him is on fire. I'm not saying you can't do it, but it is risky. But there are other things you can do.
I'm going to just close the door and bar it. You ain't coming out this way.
Okay, you can do that. It's actually Deacon's turn, but you can do that on
Yeah. Where were the other doors?
There's 4 corners.
Yeah, basically.
So here.
Here, 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 and then there's
Just run around.
rolly doors here and here.
Lock him
Gotcha.
out till the smoke gets him.
Right.
So, Deacon, it's your turn.
The smoke and his punctured lung.
I think he's still trying to figure out push to talk.
Oh,
Yeah,
Hey,
I forgot push talk.
Chris, I forgot something.
But
I have AP4.
okay, it doesn't kill him, but that actually makes his armor completely, and that negates his armor. So,
And I have Smasher.
I don't know what that does.
I don't either.
Anyway,
How do I find that out?
you can start searching through the rule books and see if you can find a description while I handle Deacon's turn.
Yeah, I completely forgot push talk. Yeah, I look. So he's basically laying under this truck. So
Yep, he's trying to shimmy towards the far wall. If you lean down and like look underneath the truck,
okay, so I can lean down and I can take a shot at him with my pistol.
you absolutely can. You want to use your stunner or your actual laser pistol?
My actual laser pistol.
Okay. Go ahead and roll your energy weapon attack.
All right. It's a 5 plus 2, so 7.
That's not gonna hit. So your shots bounce off like the axle of the truck and are deflected down into the concrete. And he's gonna like shimmy out the other side and start running towards the door full speed. Okay, so that brings up Sterling. It's your turn. You've dodged this grenade, and Sheer is in the middle of closing the door in front of you.
You said the guy was actually taking off running?
Yep, the guy's trying to go out the doors on the other side of the building.
Yeah, I'm gonna go try and grab that guy.
Okay. I'm assuming you're going to go around the building and not run through the fire.
Oh yeah, I'm gonna run around the building. I'm not gonna go through the fire. I ain't that tough.
Yeah, so that makes it a long enough thing that you're going to need to give me an athletics check. So you can be endurance or strength for your athletics check, and you can add your strength or endurance to it as a characteristic.
10.
Okay, so you, as soon as he throws a grenade and Sheer starts to close the door, you just take off, like bolt off, and you actually catch him as this door is opening. He's like holding his stomach badly; his ribs are blatantly broken, and you just spear tackle him to the ground. So you got him down on the ground on the other side.
Nice.
Sammy, it is. Oh wait, no. Yeah, no, Sammy, it's your turn.
I got a guy closing the door in front of me, and I got another guy following me. I'm going to follow him, chase him around.
Okay. You come up right behind Sterling as he spear tackles this guy. Witness that whole thing. You gonna do anything to help him secure him?
Yeah, I got some rope. I'm gonna see if I can get his hands and tie him behind his back.
Okay. Give me a unarmed check. See if you can wrestle his hands into position and tie him.
Is that unarmed dexterity?
You can use dexterity for melee. I saw it in the book earlier. So yes.
Awesome. That makes it a 9.
Okay. Well, you managed to bind his hands. Sheer, you close this door successfully. You don't have to roll, obviously, to close the door. Your 2 party members immediately start running around the building. What do you do?
Yeah, I guess. Well, I opened the door, I dodged fire, and then I closed the door again. So I guess I'm gonna move.
You still have an action, or you still have full actions you can take. Your reactions don't count against you. You used a maneuver to close the door. That was your 1 minor action. So you can do 2 more minor actions, or you can do a full action.
All right. So yeah, can I open this garage door from the outside?
Sure, that's another minor action.
All right.
So you roll that up, smoke billowing out from the fire. It isn't really spreading too far. It's a concrete floor, but there are like parts of the wall and stuff that are burning up.
Is this truck in decent shape?
This truck is beat to shit. From the weather, it looks like there's no bullet holes or anything in it. But one of the things you remember from the briefing is that the weather here destroys vehicles. They spend more time in the shop than they do out on the dunes.
Is it in danger of catching on fire?
It will be if it goes on.
I'm gonna try to put the fire out then.
Okay. I'm not sure what a extinguished fire check would be. Let's look at that real quick. Let's see. Character sheet.
I say we just huddle around it and start spitting and peeing on it.
I'm gonna try to yell it out.
Hey, that might
What
work.
do you think you are? You think you can come up in here and just catch on fire?
Alternatively, could just drive the truck out.
I could, but like, I figure because it's a mechanic shop, I mean, they probably are required to have a fire extinguisher somewhere. I'm gonna check this toolbox maybe for a fire extinguisher, and then try to put the fire out.
All right. Well, in that case, give me a easy mechanics check. 6+.
Okay.
Yeah, survival would have been a good call. I should have done survival. But since you said you were going to grab a fire extinguisher, I'll let you go with it.
Hopefully I don't get another snake eyes.
If survival's a higher check, you can use that.
No, mechanics is. I got a 9.
Okay. You put the fire out. You hear the struggling outside. We're out of combat time. You guys can do this however you want.
Just drop kick him.
Total accident.
Yeah, that was pretty funny.
Power armor is something else.
I mean, this guy's hands are bound behind his back. His ribs are broken. He is struggling a lot.
I'm gonna tell him that if he doesn't stop struggling, I'm going to break his legs and strip him down, and he can sit out here and, he can talk to us before or after, maybe even during the sun burning.
I'm gonna go inside.
Give me a social check of some kind to try to calm him. You can
I don't know that I
use.
was looking for calm, but I understand what you're saying.
Yeah, I mean, I'll let you stretch leadership over that. Diplomat would work. They don't really have. Oh, they have persuade, so you can use persuade.
Leadership works better for me. I got a 1 in that. I don't have any of the other ones. They didn't come up
Okay.
when we did character creation.
Yeah, it happens. You'll have time to add study periods later. I'll show you how that works.
All right.
Pretty mild.
All right, it's 4, 3 is 7. Yeah, just a 7.
Okay, so it doesn't really work. He's incoherent. He's muttering shit like "gonna kill everyone." Why? And like he's rolling back and forth. And I mean, he's looks like he's definitely got a bunch of adrenaline going on. Looks like kind of like the other guy was, except this guy's violent.
What's he saying?
Something about everyone getting killed or killing everyone, and then he's spitting and growling at you guys.
All right, well, sedative time.
Okay. Go ahead and do your medical check.
Do I get a bonus because I did it last time?
I'll give you a +1. Sure.
Since now I know what I'm doing.
Sure. You do realize that, as you're doing this, though, that you're not going to have enough sedatives for the entire colony. There were supposed to be 27 people in this colony originally. If even half,
We got 2 of them.
yeah, if even half of them are here, you're not going to have nearly enough sedatives for all of them.
But they have medical supplies here.
That's
In theory.
in theory.
Anyway, sedate and carry him over to the other guy. We zip tie him up and search his body.
Okay. So the Marios stayed here just like you were. You come back in and they're like, so this is some kind of like computer office space. It's probably the colony administration building. The logs here are kind of encrypted, but might be helpful.
And who can do it? Encryptions? Anybody?
I ask that over comms, or I ask you over comms, and then you ask them. That's the chain of command.
Ship has been sighted.
Yeah, I've used electronics a few times. I'm at least at a 0 for computers. You guys need me over there? I was gonna look through here and see if this.
Yeah, if you could head over here, I'm going to leave you in charge of the Marios. Have them start fortifying. This will be our forward operating base for the moment.
Tell you what, you can search in here, Deacon. I'll go do the computer stupid shit.
Okay. Yeah, because he started talking about forward operating base. I'm like, what even is that?
Okay. So who's all staying behind in the garage?
I'm gonna get this car running.
You're gonna get
we'll leave the Bobs with Sammy.
Okay.
Yeah, I guess I'm back here too.
Okay.
John said he was taking care of the computer stuff.
What do you do while you're in there? Also, Sterling's token is still over there. Sterling's staying in there too.
He might be muted.
Yep, sorry about that.
Sorry about that, guys. So I'm over here. I'm going to head over to go check out what's going on in this direction.
Okay. Go back with them. All right. So the ones I'm concentrating on right now are Sammy and Deacon. You guys are trying to get this truck started, and I'm assuming that the Billy Bobs stayed with you. Bobby Bobs.
Yes, I left the Bobs as a support for the Deacon and Deacon and Sammy.
Okay, so Deacon specifically, I think you're the one who's most likely to discover this thing. What are you doing specifically?
Yeah, I think first I was just gonna check to see if the door's open, and then sort of just check whatever it is on the gauges, if there's anything obvious. Like, is there enough fuel in this car to start, and are there keys just standing by?
Okay, so you go through the vehicle and check if all the doors open. The doors do open. When you open the back of the truck, you find the bodies of all 3 of your missing crew members.
Fuck.
Their throats have been slit.
Oh, shit.
Take the.
You're the only one that sees that right now.
All right, yeah, I'll say that over comms. Hey, yeah, that guy that put up a little bit of resistance, he's a badass man. He slit the throats of Cavino and Jimmy and Polly Bob.
All right, well, strip the weapons and armor, and I guess leave the bodies for now.
Okay, yeah.
We're gonna need ammo, so.
Yeah, I guess we can ammo up. Yeah.
Hey, while you're there, search the garage, see if there's anything useful in there. We're setting up camp here for the night, I think.
Okay, thanks for the micromanagement. I was definitely gonna not look in here for anything whatsoever, but yeah.
Oh, 12 years of this bullshit. Oh.
Okay. Sammy, you gonna give me a mechanics check because you said you want to get the truck started.
Yes, sir. Will an 8 do it?
It absolutely will. So you start the truck up. It's obviously been in here for maintenance. It has got an electrical short because like everything's working fine except for the battery lights on. And done running a quick, mechanical check. You can tell that some of the wiring, the sheathing must have come off somewhere, and it's shorting out. So like, you can start it maybe one more time, and then you're gonna have to find power sources to jump it with.
But she starts up.
Does start up. Since you didn't need the Billy Bobs to help you, they find a bunch of tools, and more importantly, they find chains and rope. And they were told to find rope to try to climb back up the dune with. So they're like, we found some rope.
Good job.
All right. So over here, you got... Oh, sorry, go ahead.
I was going to say, do we want to follow those foot tracks? I think we got a truck that might make it up the dune. Also, we got the Billy Bobs that found some rope.
There is no way in hell that truck's going up that dune.
And I am not voluntarily going up that hill at this point in time.
So, back we got Sterling arrives back here with John Shear because Maul called for someone to try to break this encryption. So, you guys are going to try and work on the log files?
Yes, that is the plan.
Okay.
Unfortunately, I just stepped outside, so could someone else roll it? I have a +1 computers check.
Maul, you said that you were going to try to spend all night. You can actually make this check easier by... So, there's this mechanic where if you want to take a lot longer to work on it, it makes the roll easier. But of course, then all this time goes by while you're working on this thing. Do you want to stop the whole party where you're at for several hours while he decrypts this?
No, not yet.
Okay.
I want to set this up as our this. If we spend the night, this is where we will spend the night.
Okay. So someone go ahead and roll Mr. Shear's computers +1 check. It is a 12 to pass if he needs to do it like right now.
Can I help him?
You guys can provide help. He can give him a boost dice.
All right.
Is that with intellect?
He got a 12.
Computer slicing is EDU.
No, that's even better.
I rolled 11, so.
All right,
cool.
Yeah, so you managed to crack the files open. You guys can formulate a plan here for just a second. I am going to take a really quick bio break.
Whatever's going on here, don't breathe the air.
I have a powered suit on. I'm not breathing the air.
You're breathing in your own farts.
I got spaceship air right now. It's amazing. Sammy, you gotta try this.
I'm not jealous at all. Not jealous at all. Now, you want me to lock down this mechanics room as tight as I can, and then we'll head over to there?
Yeah, make sure. So I assume we're not going to take the vehicle out for the moment, but let's try to make it so that's our backup plan. We need a vehicle. We have a vehicle.
Yeah. I'm gonna close all the doors as tight as I can. Try to lock them down. I might even weld a couple of the doors closed.
Take the keys to the truck.
Got the keys. Have the keys. Have the keys.
Actually, you should bring the battery with you.
And the ammo and guns. I'm fine with leaving the armor for now, but we should keep the guns just because I think feel like we're gonna need them.
I'm gonna throw the bodies outside. Let them bake for a little bit.
Yeah, to lighten them up.
Yeah, they don't need to be in our truck right now.
All right, I'm back. All right, so you got these log files cracked, and what are you guys gonna do next?
Sammy has taken the battery out of the truck and the keys.
Okay, probably a good
that
move.
way it doesn't leave. And he threw the bodies outside.
That's gonna get rank fast. Actually, it's dry enough; they'll probably desiccate.
Yeah, we planned this out.
I was going for mummification.
It dries them out so they're lighter, less.
Just go for person jerky.
Person jerky. If we get hungry.
I've got this thing called a protein pump.
That's for plant matter. I don't think it works for meat.
I'm pretty sure it's got a grinder. You put it in and pull the trigger.
By the way, I want to weaponize a rope gun. Did you see the infinite rope?
I did see that.
The second level 16.
It's yes.
Yeah, it's a caulk gun that shoots rope.
Yes.
I want to put a hand grenade on it and just use that like a web grenade.
We'll talk about that more off stream. I'm torn between being tickled about the innovation and now that's probably broken.
That's not gonna work. That's gonna work so bad.
I'll probably make it a high risk, high reward thing, but we'll talk about it more later.
Anyway, so there's nothing in this building that we're in, correct?
So this building that you are in, that Maul is currently in, is an administration center. Going through it, there are all sorts of documents and files, and the computer systems are blatantly for the administration of the log. The encrypted logs are the site leaders' research information about this site for the colonial preservation or colonial, what do they call it?
Pilot program.
It is a pilot program, but that's not what they called it. Here it is.
Colonial Pioneers?
Proving ground. It's colonial proving site. That's what it's called.
All right. Does it show, like, what happened? Are there any vid logs?
So there's a ton of information here, and you are going to be able to glean some information, but it's not something you're going to be able to do in, like, short periods of time. Like, you basically just opened up the encyclopedia for this planet. It's going to take a minute to shift through it.
All right. Do we want to put the Mario Boys on that, or one of you guys want to do it? I mean, this seems like a good job for the schmucks.
I mean, I think it's 5 months worth of data, so it's going to take some time to go through.
Relevant
The
skill.
most recent is what we really need. We don't really need all 5 months.
It's 15 months, but who's counting?
15.
Yeah, it's the admin skill coupled with education is going to be the search criteria.
I'd give a -1 to that roll.
I would give a 0 to that roll. Can we split it up between like 8 of us?
No, you can boost each other. So one of you gives the other one a boost die.
Well, only if you're trained in the skill can you boost someone.
Oh, never mind.
Yeah. With that said, taking more time makes the check easier. But that's why I said, like, it's all about how much time you want to spend. You're not going to get...
Put the Mario Boys on it.
Yeah, you could, if you put your NPCs on it, it ends up being a really easy check, because I'm assuming you're just going to leave them behind.
Yeah, we're going to barricade the doors here, leave them behind, and we're going to start searching. There's 2 exits out of here, so we're going to barricade one and check the other. Clear the rooms as we go. I'm going to keep this as a fallback zone.
How are our bound people? Are they okay?
They're both been sedated. And since he's not truly a medic, my assumption is that Maul was just like, oh, this whole canister will do. So they're out.
I rolled well enough not to kill them.
Yeah, 100%. I mean, you can come over here and do a medical check on him if you want.
If he's not actively struggling, that's what I was worried about.
Yeah, one dude's got some broken ribs, so he's probably going to be messed up for a while.
He almost got some broken legs, so he should count himself lucky.
Although he also killed 3 of our party members, so...
Yeah.
Are we going to actively get anything else from him, or...?
He's unconscious right now.
Okay.
He was not very forthcoming with information.
Okay. Yeah, not to go too quickly into killing anybody else, but for our own safety, now that he's sedated, is it best to down him now?
He's tied up. We don't generally kill non-combatants.
All right. Again, I shot at him once and I couldn't hit him when he was laying under a van, but that's me and my lack of combat skills.
Okay. One of you looks down at your watch and realizes that it's been about 3 hours. You got 3 more hours before the first check-in from the shuttle.
All right.
How do those computers work? Can we reach up to the ship right now?
Yeah, go ahead and give me... you're already logged into them, and they are linked to a satellite, so you don't really need to check. Yeah, there's a satellite in orbit that they use to communicate with off-site. The satellite appears to work, and it can be set to broadcast to the shuttle if you want.
Yeah, we can just check in right now. So we're down 3 friendlies. Something weird's happening with the locals. Stand by until further notice.
Yeah, good call.
You said you're down 3 already, and you don't want me to come pick you up? All right. You want me to keep orbiting, or you want me to burn some fuel and stay in geosynchronous orbit?
It's not my fuel.
I'd say geosynchronous orbit.
Yeah, geosynchronous orbit is fine.
Yeah,
As long as
you
there's
got
enough
it.
fuel- as
Well,
long as there's
yeah.
enough fuel to get us back.
He's like, I'll stretch it for as long as I can. Obviously, there will come a point where I won't be able to keep burning fuel for that, but I can do it for a good long time. Probably give you 12 hours on station.
Sounds good.
All right, you now have the potential to call on the shuttle for support if you need it.
How you looking on time there, big power armor man?
We got about 7 hours left.
All right, you want to make a move?
Left or right?
Let's clear the smaller building next.
Is that this one? I just saw some machinery in this building when I looked in it, but
Yeah, that one.
so okay, we're going in this one. That there was some machinery. Okay.
Who's going in first?
I will. I am the breacher.
Yeah,
We'll pull out my Gauss sniper rifle.
Super effective in close quarters indoor combat.
Yeah.
you do you. I'm just gonna. I'll let Colonel Hammer smash open the door.
Said he wanted
All
to,
right.
but we're waiting for him.
What about Sterling? He's coming.
Oh yeah.
It's also worth noting that Sterling's your other close combat specialist. He might not be in power armor, but his skill set is geared towards this kind of stuff.
He's absolutely welcome to take my place. I will. I will not. I'm simply taking it because that is how I lead from the front.
Oh, make that higher.
But at any point you need to share, I will absolutely take a step back and let you have it. Where's the door? Right here?
Yep.
All right. I open the door.
So as you open the door, there's everything from advanced fusion systems in here to old school diesel or coal steam powered generators.
Okay, so good place to charge your armor.
Everything in between. There's also these unidentified crates stacked up in a corner.
All right. Lieutenant, would you like to? Well, let's search the area.
Okay. If you tell me specifically what you're searching for, it'll adjust the difficulty of the check, or you can just make super difficult rolls.
I want to check out these crates.
I thought we were leaving the Marios behind.
I'm just taking one.
Why would you leave the Marios? Take the Billy Bobs.
Take the bobs.
I left 2 pairs.
All right, that's fair.
That way if they have to mate and produce other, species.
Right.
Yep.
Did we at least bring the Mario that didn't have 3 layers on?
You did bring the Mario that had 3 layers on it.
Yeah,
Well, it was
but
Mario
he's
Mario
at one
that-
point.
Yeah, now he's literally butt-ass naked with a flak jacket on.
Yep,
All right, whatever.
he's my new favorite.
Yeah, it's just
Okay.
sunburned dick and a flak jacket.
All right. We can do
Keep picking it.
perception checks all around. If you're not going to specify anything specific, it's 10 plus. If you want to specify something specific, obviously I'll make it easier, just like I do with Edge.
I was gonna look for some amount of or a battery to help start the truck up again.
That's a
You like
good
call
thing to look
everything
for. Go ahead and make your
possibly on
8
the
plus
island?
check.
And it's
Phantom.
intellect
different
recon.
kinds.
For our checks, what are our additional modifiers that we're using?
So it's recon plus intelligence for perception.
I got exactly an 8.
Right. Well, you find a battery. There appears to be several of them, and the way that the table with them on that you find with this battery on, it looks like they've known about the problem with the car for a while, and they have like a battery swap system set up. So you can take the old battery if you still have it and plug it into the setup, and then it'll be recharged by the time the new one runs down.
Did we find out what was in the crates?
Nobody has searched them yet.
Yeah, I want to, but I only got a 5.
We can't just open the crates?
You absolutely can if you want to do so without doing the perception check.
Oh, you can't run but so fast.
I mean, I'll do a perception check first, but ultimately, I think I'm going to open it. Yeah, I'm just going to open it.
Okay. Let me see. This is gonna be good or bad. Okay, so you pop open the crate, and a red dust pops out of it, almost as though it was aerosolized, and covers the room. Every person in the room is now coughing on this dust, unless they have a mask on.
I think we all masked up, except for
I got a mask.
Donnie.
Except for who?
Sorry, I renamed him because it's Donald Duck in it now. He's Donnie Mario.
I think it's Winnie the Pooh in it.
Oh, Winnie Mario.
Okay, so we're sure everybody has a filter mask on. Just want to double check that.
Yeah.
Yep.
Okay.
That didn't look good. Anybody get a sample of that shit?
Everybody got a
But,
sample.
I was about to say it's coating everything in the room now.
Do we have a way to scan it?
That's a good question. Do any of you have any type of sensors and/or computers? Who's got a laptop?
We all have our iPhones.
Oh yeah, the tech level 10 comms. I don't know if that'll do it.
You just take a picture of it and Google it.
Oh, Google Lens that?
If you were on a civilized world, that would definitely work. Internet is local to your current system, and since this is the extent of civilization on this system, Googling would have to wait until you got back.
Whop. Okay.
Backwater dust planet.
Mm-hmm. But you can, if you have no other way of doing it, you could do it that way.
Can I put it in like a baggie or something?
Yeah, you can take a sample, 100%.
All right, I'll take a sample.
Make sure you write down that you got that.
Can I stand real close to Winnie / Ducky? We'll see what happens.
Wait a second. What are you trying to do over there?
Well, that's the only guy without a mask, so he's coughing his ass off. Because all he got was a standard desert kit.
So we just want to see what happens to him, basically, huh?
We'll all just stand around him.
What, guys? What's going on? Is there something wrong?
It's a guinea pig.
Why are you looking at me like that?
Can I do a medical check and see if I can clear his lungs or check for his adrenal glands, see if it's pumping real hard?
You sure can.
That kind of thing?
Yep.
Oh,
6 plus 1 for medic. 7. I don't think I get to add anything else to it, so nope.
Not quite. Yeah, you don't see any abnormal things going on with him, other than the fact that he's coughing on the dust, which he seems to have stopped at this point.
That was just one crate. Are these like booby trapped? Can I go check out to see if the crates are trapped?
Have you rolled a perception yet?
I have not yet.
Okay, give me a 8+ perception.
And Recon's education?
It's recon intelligence, I believe, for perception.
Oh, intelligence.
Yeah.
Okay. I got a +2, but I rolled a 3, so that's 5 total. Nope.
Yeah, same problem I was having.
That's all right. I don't see any tripwires or anything.
Sure don't.
The booby trap too. Rolled a 4. I made it a 6. I'm the same way. It's not definitely a booby trap.
I ain't opening these fucking crates anymore, though.
Yeah, we can always stand back and have one of the Luigi's or Mario's do it.
We can open it outside. You guys give me a hand here. Let's pick this bad boy up.
Yeah, we'll wait
Oh.
outside, and
Good point. I'll pick up a crate with you. We'll move it outside.
Okay, you guys move the crate outside. There's still a little bit of dust blowing in from the storm. I'm assuming that you actually go out the proper door and not, because these are not pathways. These are sealed tunnels. You have to go actually outside to do that.
Okay. Yep. Outside.
Okay. So you guys pull one of these crates out. Let me unlock one. All right. You guys hit the button to open it?
Yeah, I'll open it.
I'm going to get like a 5-foot pole and poke it.
Okay. So this one has 3 ways of opening it. It has a valve, it has a switch, and it has what look like latches.
They all 3 of them open the thing? I'll just hit the button.
Okay. You
Switch.
hit the switch and the latches pop open and light turns green. And as soon as you do that, liquid starts pouring out of all the seams.
Ooh, what kind of liquid?
You take a sniff and you realize it's diesel fuel.
Ah. Can I flip the switch back?
Yep. And when you do, it tries to re-engage the latches. It does reseal, but it's lost a good amount of its contents. It's a lot lighter now. Yes, Mr. Sterling, what would you like to do?
oh, I'm just hitting buttons. Sorry.
Okay. But we're not in combat time, so if you want to do something, you just speak up.
Oh no, I'm just watching from a distance.
Uh-huh. The distance is important.
Hey, John, did you see any writing or something on that crate?
Nothing that told me that it was diesel.
So now that you're looking at it, it does say diesel on the side.
Oh, god damn it. This one says diesel on the side. I wonder how many more say diesel.
Yeah, I'm gonna look to see if it's if it's that obvious that it's just diesel on all these crates.
All right, now that I've fucked with you guys a little bit, the crates do have labels. The one that had the red mist on it, it says scientific sample, which is foreboding. But a bunch of these other ones say things like diesel. Some of them say mineral types. They're obviously like containers from expeditions and supplies to keep the generators running.
Right. Sam, do you remember how much fuel that truck had? I don't know why I'm so obsessed with making sure this truck can run forever.
We got gas, we got a battery, so he's all right.
It'll be okay for a little bit.
Okay.
It's not like it's going to make it up that big old hill.
It sure as shit ain't, but yeah, you never know. Might be useful to have a truck down here. And this massive hill who knows, it might end somewhere. You might be able to drive all the way around it.
They got any other of those crates that say mist or scientific sample?
Yeah, there's 3 or 4 of them.
Can we take those ones outside?
If you want.
And just leave them outside?
Okay.
Yeah, I'm like, can we just load them in the back of the truck?
You gonna poke them with a big stick?
Whoop. I didn't mean to unlock that. That was the wrong thing.
Where is there any labels that say centralized filter this way?
Centralized filter?
Like I want to look for the air conditioning unit.
Oh, okay.
Air handlers.
So these are prefabs. Each one has its own air handle. Each of these buildings has their own everything, basically. You asked earlier about communication dishes. They each have their own antenna. They each have their own air handler. They each have their own battery pack. They are wired together for power. And the generator that's running them is in this room. But like they're prefabs. They're built to have everything independently.
Is it that?
Yes, that's one of the generators. The other one is this one. The one that's running is this one, and this one is like a fusion generator.
Looks like a plotter.
Sure does. I've also used it at other maps as a 3D printer.
All right, I think we should move to another building.
I mean, do we want to turn off the power first? If everything's getting powered from here, and they don't have power, eventually they're gonna have to come out. We can just sit here and wait them out.
Without power.
We can have power. Like there's a
is there
cable
a
running
breaker
towards them.
box? Yeah, is there a breaker box? We can shut off like other building numbers, right? From here.
So you'd have to shut off all of the buildings other than yours. So basically, there's a power going out and a power in the building.
If
Oh, I'm a bad electrician. You can't shut off individual blocks.
I mean, they got any extra wire? Can we just wire it to our computer building? Our forward op space? Is that what you called it, guys?
Yeah, forward operations.
Yeah, there's enough equipment in here that if you want to spend some time, I mean, that's a big job. That's going to be hours, but you can do it.
or do we just want to?
How are we doing on daylight outside?
It's probably 10 o'clock at night. No, it's later than that. Let's see. Well, let's talk about that. So it's probably, you probably hit that 6-hour mark at this point. And you were an hour before sunset when you hit the place. Yeah, it's probably close to like 9-10 o'clock at night.
How are we doing on calling back to our ship?
They're in geosynchronous orbit. You can have real-time communications anytime you want.
So, I mean, do we need to do check-ins every so often? Did we agree to that?
I told him to like hold steady until we call him back.
Copy.
I don't know about running cable. I'm not an electrician.
Let's clear a couple more buildings and then call it a night. We've got a good fortification. We know we've got power now.
Do we have comms into these other buildings? Can we just reach in and say, "Hey, are you guys good guys?"
Or listen.
Or yeah, listening is another
Or
thing.
cameras. Cameras would be good.
Let's do that window peeping type thing, you know?
These prefabs are relatively low tech. They don't have that kind of security system. And they're not designed with a intercom in mind. With that said, there is a cell network here that is supporting your phones. Like your phones are working because there's a local cell network. So that's probably how they usually communicate with each other.
So is there a way that we can actually communicate to everyone in the area and kind of tell them, hey, look, what's going on? Or I don't know.
Yeah.
Not an Amber Alert.
Yeah, I mean,
There you go.
yeah, that's not a terrible idea. So you would have to figure out a way to access the emergency broadcast system. Are you a computers person, Sterling?
No, not me. Not my forte here.
Well, it is a computers check that you would be able to do. It's likely that it's not super high tech on this little backwater prefab. If you're doing it in a major city, it'd be one thing, but you can probably get into it through the administration center. I mean, you have access to their core computer network.
Yeah, I think if it's beyond me poking it with a stick, I think Sterling might be out of that.
That sounds like my job.
I might be able to help, but my thought was first just look to this local cell network and see how many people are actually logged in.
Even though I had it done.
Oh, that's a good idea.
Did you wipe yourself off real good, John?
Before I went in there, no, I didn't.
How is Winnie doing?
He's doing okay. Not coughing anymore.
It doesn't look twitchy.
Nope.
All right.
You running a fever?
Nope.
Growing any strange appendages?
Nope.
Dick getting bigger?
Well, I will dust myself off.
Okay. Are we splitting up? We can split up if you want.
Yeah, I'm gonna go to the admin office.
We're gonna check the next building.
Okay. I'm gonna start at the top because now I need to go into structure time because you guys are splitting up. So we'll start with Raccoon. Deacon, what are you doing? Are you stacking up on this door?
Yeah, I was gonna join the rest of the crew and search.
Okay.
Are there windows throughout here to make it easy? Like,
Sure
just
are.
looking into the window.
There are windows.
Yeah, I was gonna go over here and look through this window.
Okay. You peek inside. It looks like it's some sort of like central meeting area, probably a kitchen of some kind.
Hey,
Maybe a dining room. Lights are out.
yeah, the lights are out. This looks like it might be the mess hall. Do I know the term mess hall?
I'm
I do
guessing you
now.
do. It is English.
You were a merchant marine.
Yeah.
True. I guess I'd understand mess hall is very simple, but some of
Like
the
they would have used all the same terms. You just didn't do any of the things we did.
yeah, the tactical stuff I didn't know, but the mess hall and latrine or whatever.
Okay, so you guys are gonna open the door. So it'd be Sterling up first.
Yep, absolutely. Open that door.
Sterling opens the door and finds himself a mess hall. Assuming you're coming in from this side, you go in first. Yep. So let's see if you see him. Roll me a easy perception.
A 3.
Wow. Okay. So let me roll something.
I walk in and I'm staring at the wall going, I don't see anybody, people.
So the next question is Maul, Sammy, and Deacon. Do you immediately follow Sterling, or does he get in there a good ways by himself?
Yeah. But I don't stack up on him. I would be coming down the other side.
The other door. Yeah. Okay. No problem. So there are no lights on in here. It's relatively dark. But I think your suit has lights. Anyway, people would,
walking light bulb.
yeah, people would have flashlights. So if you guys want to use flashlights, you can.
I've got my little cold fusion lantern. He snuck in the door. I'm gonna stack up on the table, shine a flashlight down the hallway.
Okay. As the lights cut on, this guy bursts and just runs through the kitchen and breaks out the back door. He has enough time within y'all's line of sight that if one of you or all of you would like to take a shot at him, you could, but it's unlikely that you're going to be able to catch him at least until he gets out of the door if you want to chase him.
Yeah.
Can I shoot for his legs?
You absolutely can.
That's too bad. I got a stunner, but I don't think it's going to go that far.
Yeah, you're actually the closest person to him, so yeah, you could definitely use your stunner if you had it.
I do have it, but I just don't know if I'm in range for it.
You're in range because he has to run right by you. You're super close. Because he had
Let's go for a stun.
he had to come from here and run by you. So it's energy, gun combat, and dexterity for that.
If you miss, I hit him in the knee. I had rolled an 8.
Y'all shooting at the same time, so you still hit him in the knee.
Yeah, go for it. I'll take that knee.
I'm aiming for his head.
Okay, well, everybody roll your combat checks.
Yeah. I got
8.
a 11.
It's just body just gets riddled to
7.
Okay, well, you miss him with the stunner. That's pretty close to actually succeeding, so I won't have you ignite the stove. Maul was aiming for the head. You said you rolled an 8.
Yeah.
Sammy, you was aiming for the knee. You rolled an 8.
I was just aiming for the body.
Deacon was just aiming generally, and you rolled a
11.
11. Okay, all of you roll damage. Deacon, remember that any points past 8 get added to your damage.
All right, so that's 1, 2,
6.
Holy shit. 5, 15, 12 damage.
6, 9.
What'd you hit him with?
A revolver.
Oh, okay.
4D minus 3.
Okay. I had 12.
Okay, he's already dead.
His head just exploded.
I mean, he just got riddled with bullets. Like, there was a single stunner round that missed him, and the rest of it just... He actually wouldn't even make it to the door, I don't think.
Is there anything left of him?
Yeah. I mean, there's a hole in his head that took half of his face off. There's a kneecap that's missing, and then there's a shot through his sternum.
Bits all over the wall.
Yeah. A lot of blood.
I guess we probably should have tried to talk to him, but he was clearly he was coming right for us.
Well, the way I see it, if you're going to kill somebody, just do it right, you know?
I did do it right, as did Sammy. And,
there you go.
Although Sammy tried to cripple him.
I don't know if he was coming for us. He was running away, but then again, nobody that we've seen here has spoken.
I think everybody shot at him like he was a xenomorph or something.
I'm gonna check his. Can I do a medical check on him to see if he was? I don't actually want to know the answer to this, but I feel like I have to.
Okay.
To see if he's elevated.
So, because so much of his body has been shot up, it's going to be incredibly difficult to get that. You're going to need to roll a 10 plus on your medical check.
No chance. Fuck me. I got an 11.
Yes, he is definitely under the influence, the same as the others.
Oh, good, good.
Furthermore, he's wearing a set of janitor overalls.
Does he have keys on him?
Search his body real quick.
Is that recon?
Yep, it's recon plus intelligence. You need a 6 plus because you asked for a specific thing.
I think there's any chance I get it. Yeah, I got a 3.
Okay.
I rolled a 6, but I don't have a train in the skill, so I think it's -3, right?
Yeah, it's -3 for that. Okay. So you find a key ring, like where the key should be, but it's been ripped off.
Okay.
Right. Other than that, the mess hall. You also find a light switch, cut it on.
Take a gun, search for rations.
There's plenty of food in here.
Good.
There's 2 years worth of food in here.
How much ammo does he have?
His rifle is completely expended of ammunition. There's also blood on his uniform.
Well, yeah. Of course there's blood on his uniform.
There's dried blood on his uniform.
Okay.
Dried blood.
There's a lot of blood on his uniform. It's mostly his.
This black cube here.
That black cube is a mechanical thing that does not exist in the actual game. That is how I turn the building on and off.
Okay, I was curious. I'm like, I saw it in another.
Yeah, there's one of them in each building, because that is the building. If I change its state, then the building comes back.
Okay. Just wanted.
I love this washing machine right here, along with the ice cream maker.
Yes, that's what that is. Ice cream maker.
That's a
drink machine?
No, it's a protein a dispenser.
Actually, that is their washer and dryer.
I was gonna say it's definitely not a fridge.
There's a fridge over here.
Yeah.
That's a coffee machine on a table, and there's a whole bunch of nutrient packets underneath it, so that like you can brew a cup of coffee that is your whole meal.
Oh, that's amazing.
Yeah, I
have no bullets.
I sure as shit don't want to eat anything from here because anybody that we've seen thus far has been quite righteously fucked up. So I.
All right. We want to clear another building.
Deacon says all that as there's like a fresh protein pack that smells like roast beef sitting on the table.
Nope, don't touch that shit.
Okay.
Shear's gotta fix that computer. Shear, how's it going?
Yeah, I'm looking into it. Let's see how this goes.
Okay. I was gonna
computer check.
was gonna let Sammy go first, but it does make sense to take a pause at this moment and see how it's going over here. So a couple things happen. First off, when Shear comes back in this room, the guys he left behind to look through the files are like, hey, they started having issues a few weeks ago. The doctor was the first one to show symptoms, but it looks like there's something happening to the colonists We haven't gotten all the way through the logs, but whatever it is, this is some kind of, maybe it's a virus or something. I don't know, but it's affecting the colonists. These guys were not combative in the beginning. These are the colonists. Like he points to the guys who are bound in the corner. Like these are the people we were sent here to save.
Did you guys come across anything about a red dust or some sort of like substance in the air?
Not yet, but I can start looking along those lines if you want.
Yeah, start focusing that way. I think we ran into something like that.
Okay.
Scientific samples is what we found.
Okay, let's start searching by those keywords. And you want to, the second thing is you want to do the cell network now?
Yes.
Okay. So, it's a average computer's check to access the administrative functions of the cell network.
Excellent. I got a 14.
Okay. You find basically the main server that handles the cell network, and it has a pretty standard user interface, so you can do things like your quote-unquote Amber Alert. You can also shut the network down. You can make it selective. You can do any of the things you would normally do with a system like that.
How many users are on it right
now? Metagame, I can't tell you because I can't remember how many are in the remaining buildings. But there are a good chunk of people left, at least 6 or 7 that are on the network. That's the people you've already found.
Alright, I'm going to send an alert, and hopefully people, still with sound mind will be able to read it. So I'm going to say, come to the... hold on, I'm going to get on comms real quick. You guys still in the galley?
Yep.
Sorry, the mess hall?
We're working our way towards the next building, but
I'm about to send out an alert that says anybody still with us or competent enough to understand this message, they should meet up in the mess hall with us, their saviors.
Tell them we come in peace.
Okay. So my message will say, alert, raid is here. We come in peace. We're looking for survivors. Come to the mess hall and meet with our colonel.
Okay. You go ahead and hit the button, and it goes out to all the people, including your people, whose phones all ring with that message.
Mm-hmm.
Still passed. I actually gave you a -1 just because the name of your group is Raid, and that would confuse already incoherent people. However, they rolled well enough that they still understood the message. So, a group of people, and if anyone who's in the top half of the mess hall would be able to see them through the, like the windows, start coming out of the northern barracks and making their way to the mess hall. And they're incredibly incoherent. They're all like a combination of fatigue and drunkenness almost. They're just really confused and incoherent.
Please step this way to receive your handcuffs until we can.
Yeah, exactly.
Step this way. Your what is it? Comfort constraints.
Duct tape them to the chairs.
They're coherent enough that they might not like that. Let me roll that again. Nope,
this guy especially.
Nope, there's 7, so they're gonna fail being coherent enough to realize what's going on. So you can bind them if you want to.
Yep, and then we're gonna try to talk to them.
Unfortunately, that coherent check, meaning that they're not good enough, means that you're not going to get much out of them. They are going to mumble things. I'm going to give you a little bit. They're going to mumble things about the killers, and we were safe in there, and we just want to go home, and you get that much out of them. But whatever it is that's affecting the violent ones is also affecting them. It's just affecting them differently.
Okay. All right. Well, that's how many survivors? How many people were we supposed to find?
There were originally 27 people in this colony.
All right. So we got 2 in there, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and we've killed 3. No, we've killed
Killed one.
We
Killed
killed one.
one.
We've got 2 strapped up.
So there's still more. Okay. All right. So yeah, we tie them up, get them comfortable. Actually, we probably just take them back to their barracks, since that only had one door in, right?
Yep. And if you are going to walk up in here, there's a couple things you're going to notice. Number one is they already had the door barricaded, the windows too. The other thing is in the back of this building, there's a pile of body bags.
You.
How many?
A lot. Once again, metagame. I don't know how many are in these remaining rooms, but it's going to be the remainder of the non-combatant colonists.
Okay.
You got a bathroom in here somewhere?
Sure.
I mean, just dead body sleeping by them, bathroom. They had a rough time. Sorry, I've been there.
We've all been there. All right, so we get them comfortable. We move the other 2 crazies in there that are still unconscious. I make sure they're going to stay unconscious a bit longer.
Okay.
Are their adrenal glands still pounding?
Not while they're sedated.
While they're sedated.
Yeah. Now, worth noting that you start coming up against where you need to recharge on your power armor. It's been about the 10-hour mark, so you're going to need to take some time to do that.
How long does it take?
It doesn't actually say, so I'm going to say an hour for now. Seems like a reasonable amount of time, right? You have the option of popping out of the armor and letting it charge, or you can just stand there for an hour.
Just perfect attention right beside it.
I'm gonna tell everybody we should probably barricade
Isn't that how
RoboCop
recharge?
Yeah.
I say as long as you aren't naked inside your armor, then I think you need to come out of it. But if you're naked, just please stay in it.
The colonel does not answer that question. He just plugs himself in.
Oh, I wasn't asking a question.
That's a good response. This wouldn't be the first character I played who doesn't have anything on under the armor.
I was about to say, Sterling's got a lot to talk about. That the one he chosen is very Russell Crowe.
All right, so we're gonna barricade ourselves in the admin building. Is that what's going on?
Well, at this point, we can barricade the. If we put a barricade here, and here, we have the rest of this area. There are only 2 buildings left to check.
There's also tracks that led off over the dunes.
That is true. But I figured once we get the ship down here, we can try to follow that.
So,
all right. Before we go to sleep for the night, I want to send comms out to that ship that's in geosynchronous and let them know that we're still alive, and then we'll hit them up in the morning.
Okay.
We found 10 survivors.
So he's gonna send you a message back saying, "Hey, the storm's almost completely clear. I've got pretty good satellite view at this point."
Oh, cool. Do you see anybody out in the dunes near the FOB?
There's a heat signature out there that might be a person. They're just walking into the desert. They're actually walking towards where we landed the ship.
That's weird. Keep an eye on them.
It's a weird heat signature. It's almost not. Hot enough to be a person, but then in some ways, I don't know. It's weird. Maybe it's an animal.
Okay, good call.
We should check the temperatures on these people.
People we've been dealing with.
Well, I was gonna say, if you're gonna spend the whole night, you're gonna do a lot of observing for them, and you're gonna observe that they have flu-like symptoms almost. but they're also dazed and confused, and their like cognitive abilities seem to be regressing by the hour.
Huh.
Gotcha.
So
That's not happening to Mario.
That is not happening to Winnie Mario. You now know what symptoms to look for. You could try to do more advanced medical stuff. Also, is John Shear and the other groups going to stay in the admin building?
I think yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, we're gonna barricade the 3 locations I pointed out. Here, here, and then this one that we already barricaded.
Okay. A lot of work, and it ends up. Yep. It ends up taking you several hours to get everything done, so you end up getting like 4 hours sleep if you want to get up at sunrise.
Oh, and this door that this guy broke through. Oh no, he didn't break through it. Almost broke through it.
A little bit of bullet
Well,
holes.
you know, there are external doors on all the buildings, so like there's many external doors on all. But
all right. Well, we make sure those are locked and closed as much as possible.
so the Billy Bobs or the Marios or whoever was doing the search in the logs spends the rest of the night, and since Sheer is in there with them, they basically explained to him, okay, so we figured out those scientific samples are particles that have been concentrated from the dust that's in the air, the very sand that gets blown around in the storms. There's some kind of psychoactive substance that's in it. And whenever the storms kick the dust up and you breathe it in, you get a little bit more of it. It would take months to have any kind of real effect on anyone unless it was highly concentrated. But that's what's happening to these people is the psychoactive substance is affecting them all differently.
My God, it's marijuana sand.
I've never seen anyone try to eat someone else's face from.
It's bath salt sand.
Haven't you seen Reaper Madness?
It's bath salt sand. Yes.
I'm a Marine. Drugs are bad. Okay.
I feel like we're Marines. Drugs are not bad.
I just can't see Arlie Ermy taking anything.
Probably
other
not.
Than
Probably not.
Advil on his deathbed.
Oh, other than a bullet to the chest from Private Pile.
Yeah, that's true. Some lead.
Colonel Hammer does not suffer from that, although his drugs of choice are generally performance enhancing.
Okay, so the Mario brothers and the Bob brothers have done very well. I think we're just gonna, go over the logs, talk it out.
I offer the Mario brothers. All. How many survivors do we have right now? 5. All 5 survivors get a commendation.
Oh, you're talking about of our platoon?
Yeah. All 5 of our Billy Bob, Bobby Bob, and the Marios would get a commendation. It doesn't mean anything.
No, we can put in a good word with Booker, though.
Yeah,
they're Booker's team.
You guys are like, congratulations. When we get back, you won't get fired.
Right? And Winnie Mario.
Yeah, the Mario brothers.
Yeah. Okay. So I guess the next morning, if we regroup, which building you want to take out first?
Let's hit this one next.
Okay.
Let's summon the squad.
Okay. It's worth noting that when you try to wake up the Mario brothers, Winnie is dazed and confused.
Got to concentrate it. All right. Well, he gets tied up.
Okay.
Yeah, he gets tied up. And
sedated. So, as you guys are doing that, he's like, "Ah, shit, I'm infected, aren't I?" Like he is actually coherent enough and intelligent enough because he rolled 2 6s. But he's like, "Fuck." He doesn't argue with you guys. He doesn't fight you. He knows what you're doing.
You'll be fine.
Let's make him comfy. The other guys we didn't make comfy. Let's make you comfy, okay?
Put him in a bed. We tie him down.
All right.
Leave his brothers to watch over him.
Offer him some drugs if he wants them.
Oh, okay. Yeah, put him in an actual bed. The Mario brothers can all they can watch these guys. If any of them get violent, pull the trigger.
Well, they are all strapped in.
That's
we
true.
strapped all the survivors in.
This guy, does he have a gun?
Who?
You should take that from him.
No, he doesn't have a gun.
Okay.
He would have had a gun, but I'm assuming that when you were handcuffing them, you were taking it.
Yeah.
We've been stockpiling weapons. I've turned this into quite the scavenging operation.
All right, let's kick the door down and go inside.
Okay. Sheer takes point on this one. It's an empty barracks.
See how brave I was, guys?
There's more bodies in here.
Oh. Are they zombies?
A lot of them have their throats slit, like your crew members did.
Oh, they're not in body bags?
Nope.
Ooh, this is where that guy was sleeping. Man, I bet there's a lot of personal stuff in here. I don't want to go through shit like that.
It looks like there was another group of survivors in here, and one of them either went bad or got in here.
Oh, that's not good. Okay. Let's check this one out.
Okay. Are you going to kick this one in too?
Yeah, kick it in.
Okay. Immediately, rifle fire hits the first person through the door.
The guy in armor.
Good thing we'll let the guy in armor go first.
All right, so one of them misses, rolling a 7. The other hits with a 9. Sorry, I'm looking up real quick how much damage an auto rifle does. Unless one of y'all knows that off the top. Oh wait, no, I have a card somewhere. At least I thought I did.
What did you say? Auto rifle? Or
Yeah.
Assault rifle.
Auto rifle. Here we go. I got it. 3D.
Does it sound like that as it shoots? Bum, 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 bum.
It sure does because it's auto too. So if it's in burst fire mode, that means you add 2. So that does 11 damage.
Okay. So I take 3.
Okay. Yeah.
Just subtract that from my endurance.
Yes. So you take it out of endurance first, and then once endurance hits 0, you get to choose from the other 2.
Oh, okay. All right. I'm going to hit him now.
Okay. There's 2 of them, by the way. One over here was shooting 2. He just missed.
Yeah, the one that hit me is closer.
Okay.
All right, so I roll this. Holy shit. 11 plus 5. 15, 16. I hit him for 16.
With the hammer that's AP?
AP4.
Okay.
Well, he just successfully hit him. He doesn't roll damage.
Okay. You render him unconscious in 1 hit. Oh, wait, sorry. Yeah, you're right. That's not damage. That's just you hitting. Now, okay, now. So if you roll 16, and it's your rolled at 16 to hit, everything after 8 gets added to your damage. Just like Edge of the Empire.
If you roll, so everything after 8, so I add 8 to my damage?
Yes.
Yep.
Holy crap.
Yeah.
This guy's so holy fuck. 10.
Yeah, no, if melee weapons get close enough to hit, they do a ton of damage. It's just that as you go up against enemies that are smarter and have ranged weapons, getting closer is going to be harder.
Yeah. 21 damage, AP4.
Okay. Hold on a second.
Smush.
Actually, that kills him. It doesn't render him unconscious, unless you want to pull your punch intentionally and just render him unconscious.
Mashed
I'll render him
potato.
unconscious.
Mashed potato.
Okay.
Oh, yeah. I don't know that 12 years of combat would not have trained me to render unconscious. He's a mashed potato.
Okay.
PTSD kicked in.
Yeah,
Okay.
I got shot. I haven't been shot in a long time.
Well, you might get shot again, because I'm going to give this other baddie one more attack.
before the other 4 of us pile in and just blow the shit out of him.
Yep, that's what's exactly is about to happen. I'm even gonna give Maul another turn after you guys go, if he's not already dead. Maul, he shoots you in the back, 14 damage.
All right. 14 minus 8 is 6. So I go 0 endurance. And
Then you choose either dexterity or strength.
okay.
Which I was hoping that would happen. Wanted to teach that lesson. Okay. Now, if that hits 0, you're rendered unconscious. But I'm assuming that there wasn't enough to do that.
No.
Okay. If you're rendered unconscious and you take damage and the other one goes to 0, you're dead.
Okay.
Alternately, there are certain meds and things that can keep you up while in that state, but any damage you take is then multiplied, and it's a high risk, high reward situation, because if you take a lot of damage after forcing yourself to stay up using any of the special things that does it, it will basically just kill you. So, reading it, to me, it didn't seem like it was worth the risk to do that. But since you were talking about combat drugs, I want to make sure you were aware of that.
Right. So I'm gonna go after him now.
I want to let the rest of the party go first, and then you go at the tail if they don't manage to kill him. So we got Raccoon first. So it's Deacon first, and then Sterling.
I'm the first one to. So whoops. We trying to kill him or question him?
I lean over and I just shoot him. I aim straight for the stomach.
You gotta make a judgment call.
Yeah, I've at least seen how much damage has happened to Colonel Hammer, right?
Hope I'm not.
Yep.
All right, that is, I believe that's an 8. Yep, that's an 8.
Okay, that hits. Roll your damage.
All right, that is 13 damage.
Okay. 13 damage. He's still up. Sterling?
I think I'm gonna. If he's still up, I'm gonna try and hit him with my stunner and just to kind of quiet him up. And I just want to be able to question this guy afterwards.
Okay, roll gun combat energy. So it's your gun combat energy plus your dexterity modifier plus your roll. You need an 8 or higher to hit.
No, I miss. Got a 5.
Okay. Sammy.
I rolled a 10.
Yeah, that's a hit.
I rolled a 12 damage.
Dead man walking.
You can choose to render him unconscious if you would like, or he can die from that.
I saw a electric bolt go by. I saw a laser go right into his stomach. I'm gonna put my shot right between his eyeballs.
Okay. Headless corpse. This appears to be the stock room with all their supplies, provisions, etc. in it. It's a mixture of high and low tech stuff, and it is the last part of the colony. You have now secured everyone who is alive and figured out what happened to them.
Nice.
So we're gonna see how much of this we can take with us for our new operating base that we're gonna need.
Okay.
How much of it's useful and how much we can take with us.
I mean, you could potentially take the entire stockroom on the shuttle that you have, but that would be stealing from the client.
Oh.
Or it's basically securing, right? We want to make sure that he gets it, right? So it doesn't get pillaged by other people.
No, that wasn't my intention. But we'll just keep the guns we have, and if they have any more guns or ammo, we'll snag that.
Yeah. There's a small armory in here. It's been more or less depleted. All in all, you end up walking away with about a dozen auto rifles, and several boxes of magazines for them.
What was this subcontract supposed to pay out?
So we
Did
haven't
we ever get a number?
we haven't really talked about numbers because you've got someone else managing the money. So once all the legalities are settled and because you're gonna get bonuses for every person you brought back alive. The guys that you killed, you'll get penalties for, and I'll do all the math for it. And then once we figure out what the pay is for you individuals, I'll send out the individual payments. That's the part about you not having to run the company. You never have to ask how much the contract is.
Even though that would influence like a decision.
Would it influence a decision?
I mean, you said earlier that there were two contracts. One was one paid out significantly higher than the other one.
Yep.
But we didn't do it.
Yeah.
Yeah, it would influence, like, the more hazardous it is, but it makes more money, so we'd be okay to go on it.
Yeah, I mean, I'll give you that information. It's just that I have to go through and do a bunch of math, and we have 2 minutes until midnight. I'm not going to do all of that math in 2 minutes.
Oh no, I'm not asking you to. I'm wondering. I don't know.
So you guys are basically employees of the company the way that you've done it. Like you have voting shares on everything, so you can help make decisions. But I'm not gonna like make you guys do the spreadsheet unless you really, really want to. But I thought we had agreed that you didn't want to do it that way.
Yeah, that didn't seem fun. That'd be Microsoft Office, the RPG.
Yeah. It's just what I thought you guys were going to say. I mean, you guys are definitely going to make money.
Well, we have made more if we didn't kill those 2 last guys.
Yeah. So each of the colonists were worth about 5,000 a pop if they came back alive. There was you're not going to get in trouble for not bringing them back. You just won't get the bonus. Had you wiped out everyone, there would have been a significant penalty, but obviously you didn't do that. There was also the potential. So I'm calling the episode here. So this is all metagame information. But the tracks out in the desert were a protocol droid. It wasn't an actual person, and it was trying. It saw the shuttle land and was trying to go for help. It would have basically given you the same information you already had, but as a side effect, the employer would have let you keep it if you wanted it. So that's one of the things. The base contract payout minus your, you got to pay back your licensing fees. So that's the part that's really like, I don't know how much to charge you for like the employer and paying back it's 1 million credits for your licensing fee. So obviously you're going to have to make payments on that and, shenanigans like that. But I was guessing each player is going to get about 30K. But I have to do the math.
Cool.
For my character development, was there enough time talking with the pilot back and forth to where I actually got up to level 0 small craft?
Not even close. All right, so here's how I'll do real quick in a nutshell, where you have your study period, training and skill, weeks. Each study period is, I believe, 8 weeks. Am I correct, Kitzik? I think you're the only other person who's looked at this.
I thought it was 4, but let me find it again.
I think it's 8, but we can double check it. Also, it might be different from book to book, because that's the thing that I found out today it does. And really important shit. So anyway, you complete your study periods. You need the number of study periods plus for the rank. So it's study periods. So for 0 you need 1, and for 1 you need, or is it times? I should look this up before I try to do it, because I'm gonna tell you wrong. It takes a long time to upgrade. Like it's not a small simple thing.
Nope. Yeah, I guess page 55 on the core rulebook says a study period is equal to 8 weeks.
Yep, 8 weeks or 2 months. There you go.
Study and practice.
Usual. Oh, that one hit the boat.
They need to equal the level. They do so study period +1.
All right, so I am at.
So you need
base.
you need 1 study period for 0. You need 2 for 1, etc., etc., etc.
Then you still need to pass an education
Yeah,
check.
you need to make an EDU check. Once you get your study periods together, you have to make an average EDU check in order to actually get the success.
Yeesh.
Yep. But you're going to get a ton of these because you got to realize that you're going to spend a ton of time where you're like in hyperspace or between sessions. Like there may be the next session, and I might come in and say, in the Discord after the session's over, I might say something like, "Oh, well, it's been 2 months since the last session. How have you guys spent your 2 months?" And once again, you'd be unwise to spend all of that on study periods because you're going to want to say things like, "Oh, well, I went out and set this up for the company," or "I did this or that or the other." There's going to be miscellaneous things, but the bulk of that time will end up being self-improvement of some kind.
All right.
Also, Maul needs
Yeah, he needs some medical attention.
help.
Yes, I partially had that guy shoot him the second time so that he and I could sit down later and go over how you heal yourself
Right now, do we?
and stuff like that. So
That takes time.
Yeah,
too.
that does. That was a learning experience for him. So we're gonna sit down one-on-one. We're not gonna do it tonight. All right. Everybody's happy. We did a good job. You guys successfully completed the contract.
Awesome. You guys have a good evening.